Give me a go when it's time. Good morning. Takes 10 months for me to say that every year. Good morning. This is a caucus of the Jersey City Municipal Council. Today is Monday, the 16th of July. Half of July has passed us by. 10:17 p.m. We have present councilpersons Ridley, Prinzeri.
I didn't find any appointments about we have.
Shut up, Siri. Baggiano?
Yes.
Yun?
Hi.
Solomon?
Hi.
Robinson?
Here.
Rivera?
Yep.
Waterman? Good morning. Thank you. And good morning to you, Councilwoman. We have a full house, council members, at the start of this meeting, so take it away.
Okay, Terrence Nolan?
Yes.
Hi, Terrence. Thank you for coming. Terrence is with the Open Space Institute. This is related to 10E. 10E, it's a resolution authorizing a license agreement between the City of Jersey City and the Open Space Institute for city property known as the Jersey City Reservoir in the town of Boonton, the Boonton Reservoir. So there's a license agreement.
They're going to shoot that and put it on TV. On cable. That's good. They'll tell you if it's not good. There you go. Can you see that, Council President? Do you need to see that?
It's okay.
I'm
It's
so
okay.
sorry, sir.
You're fine.
Can I have your name?
Sure. My name is Terrence Nolan with the Open Space Institute. Oh, excuse me.
Do you
Thank
have
you.
any A's in
Get on
front?
camera.
All E's, no A's.
Thank you.
2 R's.
I got that down.
Thank you.
I'm Irish.
Oh, good.
Yeah, one more.
Sure.
Did Robert get set for me? Okay, Terrence, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to present to the council an idea that has been discussed on and off for the last 20 years. Backing up, I'm with the Open Space Institute. We're a nonprofit conservation land trust. We protect land in New York and New Jersey and throughout the East Coast. I'm the senior vice president that's responsible for the land protection efforts in this area. And I've been working in New Jersey for most of my career on land protection, including in nearby Weehawken and Hoboken and in Newark. The property that you're looking at on this map is the Boonton Reservoir, located in the towns of Boonton and Parsippany. It is a part of the Jersey City Reservoir system. It is a 1,300-acre property that has about 400 acres of land surrounding about 900 acres of water. It is managed by Suez. The water leaves the reservoir, is treated, and then enters the system and ultimately into the taps of Jersey City residents and residents in nearby communities. It's been identified as an opportunity to create potentially a walking trail. It is currently fenced off in its entirety. And the proposal that we are asking to explore over the course of the next year, pursuant to a license agreement with the city, is to look at the possibility of creating a low-impact, passive recreational use trail. We've been talking to the city about this specifically over the last 2 years. We've found numerous examples of reservoirs that are in similar situations throughout New Jersey and even in the country, where low-impact public access that is managed is something that happens frequently, including Manasquan Reservoir, Brick Township Reservoir. Boston, the city of Boston's drinking water system is open to the public. And one of the things that we'd like to explore in conjunction with opening this up to the public is whether or not we can develop a curriculum with Jersey City schools and potentially have a partnership where kids from Jersey City could come out to the property to see where their water comes from. There's a building that Suez is offering to be made available for free, and we, the Open Space Institute, over the course of the next year would develop those plans with the city, fundraise to try to come up with the funding for that to happen, and work with the school system to develop a curriculum that would be an opportunity for Jersey City school kids. In addition, we would work very closely with the Morris County Park Commission and to develop a management and stewardship and security plan recognizing what a sensitive site this is, and then bring back to the council a proposal. During the time period that we're suggesting this would happen over the next few months, we would be interested in meeting with members of the council to get their point of view, talk it through, and nothing that we're proposing here today is binding in the sense that we just want to go through an exploration process. So I just want to stop and see if there are questions so far.
Council.
Can I make an observation when the councilwoman is finished, please?
Your observation.
15 years ago, we attempted to open up the Jersey City Reservoir for fishing to allow access. Fish are dying of old age up there, so any fish you catch is humongous. I spent the day in the council chambers fielding applications. They were all from Denville, Lake Hiawatha, Parsippany, and the surrounding areas. There was less than a handful of Jersey City people who came here. A week after we did the permits, I got a call from a woman who lived on the banks of the reservoir, and she said, I can see people from my house. I said, okay. She said, they're fishing. I said, okay. I said, 98% of the permits that I gave out were from people within 3 or 4 miles of the reservoir. She said, oh no, these people don't live in my neighborhood. So I just want to let you know that we're building a park system for people who are already subsidizing their sewage and get a little concerned when they see people who don't quite look the same as them. And that's my experience with allowing people on the Jersey City Reservoir.
Thank you very much.
That's Boonton. That's Boonton. Not Split Rock, Boonton.
Are you talking about Boonton or are you talking about Jersey City's?
Jersey City's watershed in Boonton.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what
I think
it
you were
is.
talking about.
No, we issued fishing licenses and then suspended them.
Right.
And then suspended them after 1 year.
Council President?
Okay, Councilman Yun and DeBojano, did you have a? First Yun.
I'd like to inland. I'm very involved with New York State on the Papacton Reservoir and the Cannonsville Reservoir, and I'd like to speak to you about our reservoir here in Jersey.
Absolutely.
All right?
Okay, Councilman Yun.
Yeah. Actually, that's our resource waters, city waters in the people of Jersey for 300,000 people. As a councilperson, it's one goal we have. The best way to keep the reservoir, keep as it is, leave it as it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't touch anything, don't even dream it. And when you bring up like a walking trail, that means study human beings that hang around that area. They can be found of human waste, you know what I'm saying, and a lot of different things. And you bring up all the curriculum, bring up the Jersey City Public School, we question really they can provide to basically trip to that area, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to tell you now, you're never going to get my support, leave it as it is, with a human child, I mean that the working child without it, okay? So we're going to keep that one as it is, the way we are. Very clear. When you start open, forget about it. You know, we know what we're going to get it.
I have a question. Have you been in touch with anyone in the Jersey City Parks Coalition?
We're in touch with the Jersey City Environmental Commission, but not the Parks Coalition as of yet. We're really, at a point where we'd like to begin the kind of outreach that you're referencing. In other words, this isn't a specific ask to open the reservoir. This is an ask to develop a plan that might be acceptable and would ultimately need to be approved by the council. We want to take the next several months to kind of look through some of the concerns that are being raised here and figure out what makes the most sense, first and foremost from a security point of view, and secondly from a public access point of view.
So with the other reservoirs that have had similar trails built around it, have you seen any, I guess, increase in contamination or litter or to the water supply?
No. Given where we are in the process, we've looked most closely at really two of them, Manasquan and Brick Township reservoirs, both of which have staffed by either DPW in one case or the Monmouth County Park Commission, which actually allows, in that case, boating and has a visitor center and is high level of access. But what we're proposing here is low-impact trail. What we found is that if you do a stewardship plan the right way and you create a Friends of group, you bring eyes and ears to the reservoir to create more of ultimately impacting the safety of the reservoir by bringing friends to it who see it, report. As of now, there are regular occurrences of people breaking through the fencing. You know, it's surrounded entirely by fencing, and there are holes that are in the fence that open up on a number of occasions.
So who would be responsible for maintaining?
Right, that's what I was going to ask.
The Morris County Park Commission, which has a police force of 40 paid professionals.
But I mean, as far as cleanup-wise.
They would also be responsible for maintaining it. The Park Commission would be responsible both for security and for maintenance, and it would allow Suez to focus really on what they do best, which is monitoring the drinking water.
If that is the issue now, if you open the public, we're going to have a more issue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and the benefit to create a working trail, when I see that this benefits-wise is a city side, we didn't see any great benefit to see that they open the whole area.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, please.
And the reason why I bring up the Parks Coalition is because it's an all-volunteer group across the city of over 25 park member groups that are all stewards of parks, including the Reservoir Alliance. So there are people in place that you can have a very productive dialogue with.
Parks Coalition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before this,
I'm sorry, I know,
Could you meet with them before you introduced this? Before we came to this? It would be better if you had.
Because this is really an invitation to look into this process as opposed to any commitment to go forward, the thought was that we would develop something that you could see what it might look like. Now we would immediately go in and meet with all those groups and then bring it back for approval.
Councilor Sullivan?
How did this site get on your radar?
It came to my attention through the Morris County Park Commission Executive Director, Dave Helmer. This was a site, as was mentioned, that's been looked at for really now since 2000 as a potential site. There was a master plan that was done at that time.
Excuse my ignorance here, but and Councilman Unavogi, I don't know more about this than I do, but we have a kind of a reservoir space in Jersey City that I think we would like to turn into a similar vision. And I guess, I think from my perspective, and I guess if you guys agree, like we're going to put a lot of time and effort into turning a reservoir space into a park. I'd like it to be the one in Jersey City. Yeah. Not opposed to what you're saying, because I think it'd be great to have that open space, but I'd love to know if there's any way that these can be combined in a way, that you could be looking at our space as well, if you're going to be looking for funding and fundraising and things like that.
Sure.
So, yeah, I don't know how.
I don't know much about that space. I have read some about it, and maybe the Parks Coalition would be a way to work with them to look at that. I'd be very happy to.
Councilor Boggiano?
Yeah, years ago, one of the administrations sold off a lot of land around this reservoir, and they built houses close to this reservoir. Yes. Now, you go to New York State, they're buying up everything and clearing away everything from their reservoirs to keep it pure and nice. And I look at that map, and I can actually see all the development that's surrounding this reservoir. And the administration that sold this years ago, it's a disgrace that they ever sold this land off.
I'm familiar with the New York City example, and that's true. They've bought up a lot of land around their reservoirs in the Catskills and also on the east side of the river. Many of those, most of those are open to the public.
They're open to the public. They allow boating, no motors.
Right.
They allow, but you cannot walk on the reservoir. The police up there, used to be New York City police patrol the Cannonsville Reservoir and the Papacting. Now it's a private police department they created. But you're allowed a rowboat, that's it. You cannot walk on the property, you cannot go down there. During hunting season, they open up some of the lands for hunting, but they're very strict, and they're preserving everything around the reservoirs to keep the water immaculate for New York City and for whoever else they serve in Westchester. And being honest with you, we screwed up by having the administration prior, years ago, sell off all that
Selling
land
that off,
on the reservoir.
right.
You know what, actually, we've been there a couple of times, but we didn't go inside, actually. But based on your the comment, they have some issues, the fence cleaning issue, and that we responsible with the Morris County Park Commissioner. Then we as City Council, we should send a letter to Morris County Park Commissioner to keep the cleaning and make sure to secure that all the fence. Based on your statement, I think about time we sent a letter. Law department, why do we not do that? Because if they're the responsible to keep the maintenance and keep enforce a certain category, and based on his statement, we should send a letter to them to keep up their enforcement upfront. Because I think it's about time we should send a letter.
No, well, they would be responsible for maintenance. If we were to go, that's what Terrence is saying. They would be responsible for maintenance if we open this up into a passive trail. Currently, the site is ours, it's only ours. They have no interest in it. They have no lease, they have no license. Nobody has any property interest in this area except for Jersey City right now.
So then Jersey City, we should step up to certain maintenance. Why we not do that?
I can just respond by saying, having looked at the situation over the course of the last year, what's happening is that kids will break in, and then when that gets identified, the issue gets up, they fix the fence. In this case, Suez, which is the manager. So they immediately do.
We should send a letter to Suez, keep up to their job, that the fence have to be repaired. If anybody is bring up to certain things inside, they should be enforced. You know how much we pay the Suez? We pay a lot of dollars. And that's a part of their contract, that's their duty. They should be do that, because we don't hear the third party like you to then maintain the fence, then maintain area. I'm not too happy to hear that. So we sent a letter to the Suez, president with the Suez, you know who is, right? Oh, JCMU, we should send to the JCMU too. Who is the guy? Jeremy?
Jeremy.
Yeah, make sure he do his work. Put your hit to his side.
But if something happened right now, we're responsible, right? If somebody go in there and drown, whatever, we're responsible as a city.
Yeah, it's we own the property.
We own the property. So it's us.
Yeah,
Council President, can I just say one thing and I'll shut up?
All right, Robert.
The two Catskill Mountain reservoirs, the Ashokan, the Never Sink, and Papacton Reservoir, I have permits to fish them all. I have to apply for a permit, have it on my person while I'm near the water. I mean, think about what some nasty person with a 5-gallon can of something awful being able to walk off the trail and go and dump it into the reservoir.
Just to respond to that, because that is obviously something to be aware of as a concern. The reservoir is fed by the Rockaway River and is part of the broader Rockaway River watershed. And Suez routinely, as part of its job, tests the water quality throughout the Rockaway River watershed. Sure. The Rockaway River at the entrance of the reservoir is crossed not only by 287 but also by Route 202. And I guess I'm bringing those points up in the sense that you can put a fence around this reservoir, but that doesn't necessarily address what is a watershed concern at all times, which is you want to be monitoring your watershed. And the experts that we've talked to, and the whole idea is that we need to look at this issue over the next 12 months to satisfy the concern you're raising, is that having somebody go on a walking trail doesn't necessarily make the reservoir any more vulnerable because it's all connected and is part of a broader watershed.
Right, but these are people who are sitting on 5-acre lots whose Jersey City is subsidizing their sewage bill every year through the Rockaway Valley Regional Sewage Authority. So this is a running trail for all of the 5-acre parcels that abut the property. And that's what I got tapped on the shoulder. I got tapped out.
Parsippany is a lot more densely populated than that, and we've met with Mayor Suriano, and wants to be a partner.
Okay. I'm sure he does. He wants his folks to have a running trail.
All right. Okay. Folks, thank you. So let me just ask a question to the administration, to the BA, Law Department. So what, folks, what is the administration's position on this? Is this something you're looking to move forward? Is that, because I hear some concerns from the council, and do you want to circle up together and like discuss that and figure out?
I can speak for that because I've been attending some of the meetings with Terrence over the last 2 years, and Marcos has been involved as well in some of these discussions. And the administration would like to certainly explore this. Like Terrence said, it's not a commitment that they're looking for right now from the council, but they're looking for the opportunity to explore this and to see if this is something feasible, that's workable, and that would work for both Jersey City and for Morris County. They're looking to do this in a way that doesn't propose cost to the city by having Morris County be responsible for the maintenance and for the security, and for Suez to be donating their space to provide that curriculum center that Terrence spoke about. So the administration is very interested in exploring this, and that's all I can say.
Councilman Young?
If you read the license agreement, I didn't see any one piece of benefit to people of Jersey City or city of Jersey City. You know what I'm saying? So I think we got enough discussion already.
Terrence, what would be the curriculum program?
Well, I'd like to, I think, to go to the question of benefits in Jersey City, and I think one of the best opportunities is to connect kids from the city to the reservoir. And I'd like to develop over the course of the next year, work with the Parks Coalition, work with folks around this table to figure out how to develop the benefits for kids, work with Jersey City School District to see if you could develop field trips out to the site where Suez has made available a space that used to be a lab, that we could fundraise to potentially do create sort of a curriculum-based approach and then have them a first-hand look at the dam and then the reservoir right next, right by there. I think it could be a great opportunity for kids to see that their water comes from only a couple miles away and from the Jersey Highlands. So that would be something we'd like to develop in the course of the next year. That's part of the plan that we'd like to look at.
Would it only be for the school system or for the recreation program?
Wide open. Wide open. I think we want to look at all opportunities.
Work it all with New York State Environmental Commission and the reservoirs upstate New York?
I've worked with the DEP, the New York City DEP, a little bit, yes.
Because they are fantastic in trying to preserve the reservoirs, preserve the land around the reservoirs, and I think Jersey City should start smartening up and doing the same thing.
One of the things we'd like to do is that this reservoir now has a lot of no understory and a lot of stormwaters. When waters from the surrounding streets flow, ultimately ends up in some form or another in the reservoir. We'd like to come up with a planting plan and a stewardship plan and a restoration plan so we can look at how we might improve stormwater runoff into the reservoir, which is happening today, and we think we can improve it. I think inviting nonprofit friends that can do fundraising and can do stewardship and can invite the public in a sensitive way, this is a sensitive site, is something that would be an exciting opportunity.
Is there any way I can get a copy of that map?
Absolutely. I have your contact information. I'll send you a hard copy and a text.
Okay. Great. Folks, if there are no further questions, thank you, Terrence.
Thank you.
Okay. Michaeline? Michaeline has 10Z19. It's a resolution authorizing the use of competitive contracting to award a contract for consulting services needed in connection with auditing of the employee and retiree prescription plans for the city of Jersey City. That's 10Z19. So it's authorizing Z19, authorizing the use of competitive contracting. Take it away.
Good morning. This is a first-time resolution for me. This has been recommended to us by our broker to get a consulting firm to go over our present and any future prescription plan that we have for our employees, our retirees, and their dependents. Basically, to make sure we're getting the best coverage and the best rebates.
Best service.
Yes.
Because we've raised this issue in the past. Previous council, with regard to kind of the level of service that some people found inadequate. And if you're new on the council, there's some of the prescription drug things there, so.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. This is a consulting, we hired a consulting, I just want to make sure that we hired a consulting company, so consulting job is to find out the best prescription plans, correct?
Right, well, what we're doing is we're going to go and do an RFP. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever had to do this type of resolution for a competitive contract. So basically, I had to do the resolution. Next week, we will put an RFP out on BidSync for prospective vendors to apply to be that consulting firm.
Okay, but, especially, this is not the first time, right? We hired a consulting company.
For me, for health benefits, this is the first time.
It's the first time
Yeah.
we hired a consulting company.
We're looking to go after a consulting company, yes.
So to conduct an audit.
Yeah, yeah.
My concern was that this is the first time. Because they missing the one paragraph is that where usually when we put a contract, the contract total price is not excess a certain amount, you know what I'm saying? That was missing, so I was just scratching my head. But if this is the first time, you guys have no idea how much will be the consulting fee.
Exactly.
That's why it's okay.
I don't want to quote the broker exactly, but I believe any fees may be based on a percentage of money that they save us. So instead of them saying, we're going to pay, Jersey City is going to pay us, if they save us X amount of dollars, they only expect to get back a percentage of that. And from what I understand, it's relatively low, so basically what they save us is how we're going to pay them.
Recommend a new potential service, is that what?
I think what they want to do is they're going to monitor Express Scripts, which we have now. Express Scripts is our contract until the end of the year. By September, if not earlier, we're going to go out to bid for a new prescription plan provider as well. It could still wind up being Express Scripts. It could wind up being another entity, but who is ever in place as this consulting analytical firm, they will monitor whoever the PBM is, the prescription provider.
Beautiful, so we move to right direction now.
About time?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions?
Has this issue with Bank of America where hundreds or thousands of checks have
No,
bounced?
it's nothing to do with that.
Has it been settled? And I'd like to know who is responsible for this error, because on a lot of the police officers, and I believe firemen and other retired people, could not believe this situation.
I've gotten calls from we've gotten calls from many, many retirees and from several of the unions representing the actives, but of course they are in touch with the retirees. My understanding is, and we've been directed by Treasury, that if anybody's check failed to cash, they can take a copy of it or their original to Bank of America and it will be cashed. If they were charged an overdraft fee, they just have to send us a copy of that overdraft fee charge, and a list will be put together, and they will be reimbursed accordingly. But who caused the error? I've not been privy to that information.
Okay, so this is what happened.
The Council President, so this is actually, the major issue was last week, because a lot of people received that Medicare check from the city of Jersey. When they deposit the bank, it bounces. So we call the several departments we contact with that. One of the major reasons is that they change the bank. Whatever the city write a check, they provide the list of the payable list to the bank, but I think at this time, human error, they provide the list to different bank. So that's why when the checks come, the bank B doesn't have a list of that, so they start checks bounce. So this is, we understand human error, but we just want to make sure that it doesn't happen again, number one.
I would hope that it will never happen again. It is, right.
Yeah.
No, it has nothing to do with health benefits. I mean,
Well, I talked to Peter O'Reilly first and asked Peter to talk to the councilman, so I already know about it. It's 192 checks.
It has to be more than that. It's more than 192.
They write on
It's a very specific kind of check.
yeah. They write on the 700 check, 200 check, approximately 200 check.
Yeah, 192 checks.
Yes.
Well, one of the retired detectives called me. He went to Bank of America, and they refused to honor the photograph.
It was the wrong account number. It was inadvertently printed with the wrong account number. And in 25 years of my experience, I've never heard this happening before. In fact, I incorrectly told the councilman that it's impossible for the city to bounce a check. So I really strongly don't believe it'll ever happen again. But I will follow up, and I'll ask Peter to give Peter O'Reilly, our treasurer, a policy that'll show that will not happen. Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely an embarrassment. And it's, it hurts the people who, we're bouncing a check on a person who really needs that money. It's a retiree. It's not, so it's a very unfortunate mistake.
I mean, could continue this conversation because it's not the first time. So it's actually, I didn't hear about this until now, but I just sent an email last week about another checks being bounced.
That's a different issue. You're talking about vendor checks, right?
Yeah, but there's a question there, I think, as to whether, I'd never heard of checks being bounced until this year. Like,
well, it can't.
Literally.
Legally, it can't. We can't, this council can't approve money that we don't already have.
Right.
That's the system of accounting in the state of New Jersey.
I'm wondering if there's something systematically wrong.
Absolutely. So why don't I have Peter from Treasury come and talk to you about it at the next meeting.
You say right. So this incident is a bounce check about that the Medicare payment. We understand because of human errors, so it's a forgive. But the most important thing is this one: we pay rent to office space rent in the 30 Montgomery Street LLC. Last year twice, and this year once. We pay rent late, so they charge late rent fee as additional rent. Yes, so we printed the $20,000 have to pay as a late fee. That was the issue. That we like to know, not just once, 3 times.
Actually, that came from the last council call.
Yes, twice last year, once this year. That means somebody still on their job.
Yeah.
So we gotta make sure that that person should pay the $20,000 back to the city of Jersey, then do their job, or no other choice. That's the problem.
We don't pay landlords on time.
Yes.
Sometimes. So we're going to have this all together and make it one.
Have a conversation.
One policy response.
Yes.
Definitely.
Well, we should definitely look into this because there should be accountability around all this.
Yes, thank you very much, President.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
And this has no reflection on what Michaeline or anything she's doing. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, Michaeline had nothing to do with it.
Okay. Mary Ann, 10Z16. We're getting the rec soon enough, guys. I thought we'd knock out some of these one-item stuff, but this is a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City authorizing the acceptance of a grant from the Hudson County Department of Health and Human Services and the execution of a grant agreement. This is the Municipal Drug Alliance. I'll turn it over to our coordinator, Mary Ann Keller.
Good morning. This is our annual funding from the Governor's Council on alcohol and drug abuse, and that comes to the County of Hudson. We received the exact same dollar amount this year that we did last year. This is just the resolution to accept the funds, and next month you'll receive the resolution to allocate the funds to our subcontractors.
Questions, anyone? Hearing none.
Mary, you're a very talented person. You should get us some more dollars. What do you mean 160? Bring a ton
More
there.
dollars. Well, we will be doing, there's a 5-year plan, so next year we'll be preparing the next plan. So if you have some ideas, I'm open to them.
So get some more.
Okay, sounds good. Will do.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Okay.
Brianna? She's got 10Z29, Council. This is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Open Data Soft LLC for data management platform subscription for the City of Jersey City Office of Innovation. And Tabby, are you with her on this? Yeah. You guys together? If you introduce yourself for the record and...
Yes, I'm Brianna Lawrence, the Director of Innovation, here with Tybee Kantrowitz in Data and Analytics. And this is essentially a resolution for us to start working with Open Data Soft as our open data portal platform instead of OpenGov, which will save the city over $100,000 in the next 5 years and provides better service to constituents.
So what is different than what we have now? Under this one?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of differences, and one of the
What we cannot use. What we have, while we have to buy a different software company to service.
So the current platform that we have is built on a type of system called CCAM. And what that means is that there's a lot of different plugins, and it's almost like you're adding apps into the website to make it work. This means that it's easier for one part to break and affect another part of the website. The way that Open Data Soft is built is much more user-friendly and is all integrated. Their customer service team has been working closely with us to actually define exactly what Jersey City wants and needs, and they're doing it for half the price.
Well, how much we pay what we have, and we know how much we pay for the new one. How much we pay for the old one, what we have now?
So for OpenGov, we were paying $50,000. Or $53,000 in the first year, and then year over year it was $36,000 a year. Open Data Soft is $20,000 in the first year and every following year.
So now, the old one, we're not going to extend any contract?
Correct.
So we're going to use the new one?
Correct, and the way that we're attempting to work the transition is that there'll be no loss of service. There will be you won't realize that the Open Data Portal is down in any way. It will just be more user-friendly when it goes online, and it'll be seamless.
Okay, so old one we're going to cancel it?
Yes.
And whatever time is expired, we're going to be not going to use anymore, and we're going to go to new data.
Correct.
And can't you add to one more things? Actually, when we talk about the city webpage, actually that your department is control, I guess, right? No? Who the mayor's office?
We don't. We do not
do that, right?
city website.
Okay.
No, they don't.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we save a lot of money, right?
Yes.
$33,000 a year, not bad.
Happy, you're up. It's, Happy's got 10Z18. And this is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Fisher Scientific Company, LLC, for the purchase and delivery of a lead paint analyzer through the U.S. Communities Government Purchasing Alliance for the Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Environmental Health.
Yes.
Anything you want to say about that?
Just that we're purchasing the lead analyzer to, for our Lead Prevention Bureau. As you know, the state recently lowered the acceptable level of lead in children to 5. It used to be 10. So we're going to have a lot more work on our hands than we had before. And this is the machine we need in order to analyze the lead paint.
When did they lower the levels?
Excuse me?
When did they lower the levels?
Probably, I would say, the beginning of the year around.
Council President. Yes. Last year we purchased one already. Last year, well, all of this year. Yeah, we did that.
We have one, but we right now we have 2 inspectors, and we're going to be adding.
So this is additional purchasing, right?
Yes.
And so when we purchased it, January or February, I remember that. Because I even do my research, the company located somewhere was Boston was what I understand. First machine we purchased. Now this one I think located Pennsylvania, right? It's the same company or it's a different company? It's a different machine?
I think it's, I know one machine that we ordered is to test other things because, you know, lead paint in 1974.
There was a lead paint test machine.
Right.
Device
but
was
there's
right.
a second machine that tests lead and other things like in makeups and in pottery and things like that.
So this machine was upscaled than the other one?
Yeah. So we need that machine now because a lot of times the lead source of the lead isn't in the paint; it's in other things in the household. So we need a machine to test for other sources of lead.
Then while we purchased the first machine, not like this one?
Because they're two different machines. You need both of them, basically.
You need them both of them?
Yeah.
But this one covered what the first machine doing now.
But the standard was dropped, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
So there
now,
are
based
more
on the
cases.
standards being dropped, this machine's supposed to be suffice for that use versus the other machine?
No, we're going to have more inspectors coming on because we're going to be getting more cases. So we need more than one machine.
Okay, simple. So we need another machine. Goes two inspector, right?
Right now, we have 2 inspectors. We're probably going to have 3 or more
All right.
rather shortly.
Okay.
Okay.
Will we need additional machines for the additional inspectors?
Not at this time. And this is also coming from the state lead grant. Because of the state lowering the levels, they also sent us money to cover in order to stock up, in order to build the program and expand the program.
Thank you. That was my question.
The state is.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, they have to.
I gotta tell you this. I was at a meeting last night, and your name came up. And one person said, you're one of the nicest people working in Jersey City. I didn't know I was gonna see you today, but I was gonna call you and tell you.
And one of the hardest workers.
And one of the hardest workers.
One more machine.
Okay. Before Happy leaves, we also have a second reading ordinance, 4J, on the agenda, which has to do with the rodent control and requiring construction sites to have rodent control. 4J.
Ordinance 18079.
So which one?
No.
Second reading.
Any questions on that before he leaves here? This is on 4J. Okay? Great. Glad you're all happy. Thank you. Thank you, Happy. All right. Now we have, we're going to move off of the agenda and go to, we have Director Arthur Williams here, Recreation. He's going to discuss some of the, what's going on at Recreation, and also take any questions and answers with regard to any issues or concerns with regard to Recreation's programming.
Thank you, Council President. Good morning. Good morning. Take this of council, please. And, okay, and the books, and that. Okay, well, we're in the midst of our summer.
My take was that I think that
what we should have is a closed session with the director, as opposed to bringing everything out here, only because there's probably going to be issues that we cannot discuss, and I defer to the Corporation Council on that. And I think that, it wouldn't be fair to people in the department nor the director that we have in a position like this. I think it should be a closed session meeting, but that's totally up to you, Council President.
Did you get one of these?
So I think some members of the council are concerned about personnel-related matters and things of that nature. All of that is, yes, probably subject to closed session.
I would agree with that, yes.
Okay.
What we're talking about here is just the programs, correct?
Well, I mean, this was initiated and requested because there were certain concerns raised about the programs themselves and how they're being, with regard to execution and personnel, particular matters and so forth. So
We can move forward with this discussion, and then if there's going to be...
we can certainly have discussions about this, yes. Well,
Council President? Why don't we get his presentation first?
That's what
After that, yeah, we'll decide,
Right.
Because instead of just goes to,
And then we'll go from
What we would do is we would have to adopt a resolution to go into closed session at this meeting. No, we won't do it at the caucus. We don't take any action during the caucus. Yes.
I just want the council to know how that would work.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we'll have a resolution on this agenda.
That's the intention, and then we would need to know the date and time when we're going to do this.
It would be Wednesday.
It would be Wednesday.
Wednesday's meeting? Is that what you would
do a
like?
closed
What is
session?
the closed session? When do you want it?
We would prepare a resolution for
Wednesday.
walk on Wednesday and then schedule a date certain at that time.
Okay.
We're going to do it Wednesday.
Yeah, so is Margaret here? Okay, so Margaret will coordinate with the council on a date, okay?
And sunshine.
For a closed session.
I just want the council to know that
Absolutely.
a couple of weeks before there'll be a closed session.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, there we go. Hi, Artie, how are you?
Okay.
Hi, Artie, how are you?
Yes, there's a lot to talk about at Recreation in a closed session. I welcome that.
Okay, folks, let's give Artie the floor.
Okay, we're currently in our summer camp program. We have about 1,425 participants at the following schools in Jersey City, as well as 5 public housing sites. We have all the pools open at the public schools, number 6, 27, 40, 41, Ferris High School, 16, Pavonia, Johnson Avenue, and Persian Field was a membership and a fee pool. We also have a great mentoring program. We had a relationship with CarePoint, and Ms. McReynolds, if you want to address the CarePoint collaboration where students from Lincoln High School had the opportunity to work at the hospital.
Absolutely. Do I speak?
Yes.
Council President, I'll go up here.
No, come on up here. So you can be on TV.
Oh,
Please.
Good morning, Council President, to the council, good morning, everyone. The partnership that the director is actually speaking of is that we have a CarePoint mentoring program that actually just started this year, and we actually started it with Lincoln High School. It started with 10 young ladies from our mentoring program, and they literally actually did 8 weeks there. And this is the first time that it's ever happened. I'm excited about it. CarePoint has welcomed our young ladies into the facility, and not only welcomed them, but they have an opportunity to be able, if they want to work, intern later during the future, they'll be able to pay for scholarships. So this partnership is huge for our city, it's huge for our youth, and we're excited to be able to take it on with other schools as well. Thank you so much.
Program, is it over or is it all year?
It's ongoing.
It's ongoing, even for the summer?
In September. We still have the Teen Mentor magazine. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's actually go on all year, Councilman, but we actually just incorporated, we have our teen magazine that just launched on July 5th. This is our 9th year. You know, we done serviced thousands and thousands of children, and we have our huge graduation here on August 23rd that everybody's invited to.
What departments in CarePoint are mentoring these young men with? What departments in CarePoint?
I'm sorry, sir?
What departments in CarePoint are?
Oh, they actually have all their directors, Councilman. It's directors, I mean, they're directors from the nursing, from security. The new CEO, Miss Dr. Natasha, which I can send you the link that we kicked off. They actually have all their directors that actually are pouring into our young people.
With Jersey City Medical Center in a mentorship program like that as well, bridging that gap?
This fall, we hope to do that, Councilman. We hope to do that this fall. This fall, we hope to have a mentoring program with 100 males and 100 females, collaborating with the independent organizations that we have throughout the city. There's so many different splinter groups, bringing them all under one roof, and just working with them and collaborating with activities. But we hope to do that this fall, working with a college-based program at Hudson County Community, NJCU, and St. Peter's.
Will they receive any, like, certificates, any kind of things they can put on their records?
Yes.
After the program?
Oh, absolutely, Councilman. I think you were on vacation, but we had a huge graduation for them at the CarePoint facility, that they saluted them, they gave them plaques, they gave them certificates, awards, and we had a luncheon for them as well. But we definitely invited you. I think you were on vacation. The mayor, the honorable, was there. Dr. Lyles was there, but I definitely make sure you have the pictures that you can actually see as well. You're welcome, sir.
And we hope to collaborate further in the fall with the schools and collaborating with Dr. Lyles to have a Saturday session for mentoring. There's a program hosted at Hudson County Community College where one of our Jersey City residents got a full scholarship to NYU this year. The public housing program. The public housing program, again, Councilwoman, it's very near and dear to my heart, being a resident of public housing. We were able to meet with the director at her request to bring recreation into those facilities. We opened up 5 campsites as well. For the fall, we'll be working, because they have computers on site, they have their own basketball courts, volleyball courts, and a number of activities that we can bring them into the schools, mainly because the Holland Gardens, crossing those 2 busy highways, is not feasible for those students. So we want to work closely in those sites with our rec clinics and our rec leaders. So, and we're building with those, as well as getting them involved in the mentoring programs as well. We also have tennis for the summer at 3 sites: Persian Field, Hamilton Park, and Berry Lanes. Mr. Kemp will speak to the tennis, and then we can also cover the Rec Nation basketball, so we'll get out of your way.
I mean, I know a lot of the children that I speak to, especially being a business owner myself, they're very interested in being, entrepreneurs. So I don't know if it's something that we can look into, the mentoring program, to kind of link up with some of the business owners in the community, to kind of give them some...
As part of the mentoring, that will be inclusive of, because it's team building, confidence building, and working with business leaders throughout Jersey City for internships.
Now,
Yes.
is that the 100 and 100? You said 100?
That would be in that 100.
Okay.
And I would provide that curriculum and the information to you once we establish the foundation for it.
Sorry.
Thank you, Councilman. But we do have that under consideration.
Good morning, Council President, Council, total council, and everyone. How's everybody? Great. Okay, so we're going to get into it. First, tennis. Tennis is all year round. At present, in summer, we're at Persian Field on Mondays and Fridays from 5 to 9. 5 to 7 is the little ones, 7 to 12, and 13 to 17 from 7 to 9. On Tuesdays, we're at Hamilton Park. On Wednesdays, we're at Berry Lane. We're approximately, Persian Field actually is the biggest count. One day we had like 90 kids. Yes, Councilman.
Complaints about the tennis courts in Persian Field.
Terrible.
Tennis courts? They're terrible.
Condition is really bad.
That's what the people are saying. Has any work been done on them?
Nothing.
I've been up there.
It hasn't been
I know.
repaved, but we work with kids, and we haven't had any incidents, and it's no holes, but it could be repaved. There's no holes there. So, but it's accurate. It's good enough to play, but it could be repaved.
A lot of work up there.
Yes.
We met a few times on it, and I hope the work gets done on Persian Field.
Okay, why don't you put it this way? That a Persian Field have 2 different, one is a basketball court, well done, well maintained.
Yes.
They put your new face. But the other hand, next to the basketball court, the tennis court, condition-wise, out of control, really. They're all, the field is a cracks, grass.
That's a DPW.
Yes,
That's what I said.
Right,
yeah, we know that. So-
Yeah, I can speak with Pat Simon, we have a good
Yes,
relationship with Pat.
yes. So what happened, Pat from the DPW, they promised us to resurface the tennis court. So to your favor, would you go ask them what happened?
Yes, I will speak.
Yes. The Pat actually promised that issue.
Anything that, any issues that we've had, Pat and I have a great relationship, he's always addressed it at
Yes.
Persian Field, so I would reach out to him.
He well aware of the problems.
Okay.
During the school year, we're at 37 at PS8 and in PS16, the same times. We also have badminton at number 8 school on the second half of the day for two days during that time. Going off to track. Track and field is year-round. At present, we're at Lincoln Park, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, in Ferris High School on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We go from 4 to 17 years old.
The number's outrageous. We have one young man who's going to the Nationals, Prince Fontenay. He's going to the Nationals. Daniel from the Jersey Journal should be running a story on him in the near future. It should be done as present, but I will submit that to you. Basketball. We have 6 parks. That doesn't include, you have paper for Hamilton Park. Of course, that's the highlight of it all. It's always been that way, high schools. We have 6 parks: Muhammad Ali, Persian Field, Berry Lane, Bayside, Audubon Park, and Pavonia. And at each park is different age brackets that will be starting to beat the streets. Most of them are 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th graders. At Persian, we have 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th in high school. At Pavonia, we have 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. At Berry Lane, 5th, 6th in high school. At Muhammad Ali, 5th, 6th, and 7th, 8th. And Bayside is the only one we did honor have something for the men to keep them off the street as well. And that's the gist to it. Do I have any questions?
Any questions on tennis?
Tennis, basketball, or track?
Track, you never mentioned track.
Yes, I explained track.
Okay.
We good?
Okay.
Thank you.
We also have our summer feeding program. If you just want to highlight the areas we're feeding quite a number of kids. We also included public housing in that program as well. As she come up, and we're also starting a parent advisory. A lot of the parents have a lot of concerns with the recreation, but working together collaboratively with the parent advisory that will help us guide the programs to the community with parents' participation. Okay.
Hi, good morning. So we have the summer food service program. We service various churches, we service the housing, daycares, and anyone that's running maybe a Bible camp or just want to just feed the community. We provide them with meals, breakfast and lunch. Some just serve lunch to the children in the community. So far this year, we have approximately roughly between 65 to 75 sites that are servicing the communities. Our largest ward being serviced is Ward F. We have several sites in Ward A, as well as Ward C and D up in the Heights, that area. That's pretty much it.
So we pretty much cover the whole city for summer feeding in conjunction also with the Board of Education and their summer program as well.
Can you provide us with a list of the sites and numbers as to how many are being?
Yes.
Okay, appreciate it. Folks, any questions on that?
Yeah.
None?
Also, this fall we're starting soccer, and we're trying to do it in every ward, 20 school, 23, 25, and MS7, as well as a youth age 4 to 6 program at the Bethune Center on Saturdays for those youngsters, just to get the mobility of handling a basketball and playing baseball. And that pretty much wraps us up. Oh, swimming. Joe Mackey? Mr. Mackey, you want to, our swimming?
Councilman Rivera, we have the representative for the soccer program, Edgar Bautista here, and the representative for the swimming program, which is
Rosemary. She's off on Mondays.
Oh, she's off on Mondays, so we need...
We can have Edgar and Dan Ali speak to the soccer program, because we hope, it didn't meet their schedule, Councilman. However, we will be having soccer throughout Jersey City. Edgar is up in the Heights at MS7, and he's also on Pavonia. Danny Ali and Edgar will be split and going into different parts of the ward doing soccer clinics in this year's summer program. So hopefully that we will engage having soccer in each ward. Okay, Mr. Mackey, would you speak to swimming, and then Mr. Tim Brown will speak to our adult wellness program, and that would conclude our presentation.
Since I have swim, I'm actually appropriately dressed, so excuse me for the minute. As alluding to what the director said, there is 9 locations that we utilize with the Jersey City Public Schools. Then there's 3 that the city controls and owns, Persian Field and Lafayette and Pavonia are the 2 outdoor pools. In addition, when there's a perception about pools, there's actually 15 water sprinklers. So they're all the way from Persian Field, although Mercer Park is a county park. South, they also have the water sprinkler. Gallagher Park on Linden Avenue, Robert Gallagher, who's related here, a long-time friend and good people, and all the way downtown from Hamilton, which has various water sprinklers. They have the big one, they have a little one, and then going further west to Lincoln Park, which is also the county park. Obviously, the weather has been very demanding. The numbers we have, the director could allude to, and we could forward to everybody that, about how much these pools take in with attendance-wise and everything else. Everything is public information, and we could address that appropriately.
Absolutely, we have the numbers. Okay?
I'm sorry.
So we're trying to keep every kid in Jersey City cool, calm, and collected, and bringing recreation back to the wards. We have the flag football and tackle football coming up this fall, and the journals that you got, those are the journals from 17-18, but our 18-19 journals I should have forwarding to you soon, because those programs are existing programs, and we're just building on the programs currently and making changes as we go forward and trying to stay in or below the budget that was submitted before I got to recreation. That being said, I thank you very much. Enjoy the, yes, Councilman.
The Saturday and Sunday problem up in Persian Field.
Swimming pool issue you talked about. We got a lot of email.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. Once you called me, I didn't realize it then, but then I met with Mrs. Nunez, and she was all for the membership. Yes.
One more thing is that this is like annual issue, concern about the supporting baseball league team in the citywide. As you know, that the CDBG allocated $60,000
yes.
to recreation department. We're going to make sure that, with your leadership, make sure that they release the $60,000 that divide all the baseball team equally on time. That's the key.
It's late.
It's late again?
It's late.
But actually...
It's late. It's late because the managers of the teams did not submit their paperwork. We reached out to them several times, Councilman Rivera. Oh, absolutely. We've met and we've both for a meeting with those managers.
They submitted the paperwork.
Yes. So they submitted this paperwork to us late. Yes.
Actually, CDBG fund, but this...
Oh, no, I know. We're the custodian of those funds, and it's drawn down. Yes.
This Wednesday, they include $60,000 for the 2018 for 2019. So we want to make sure that once the city council approved that their resolution this Wednesday, money transfer from the city to recreation department, so you guys are able to distribute money to baseball team citywide on time. That's something I like to hear that from you, okay?
One thing I like to have everyone paid on time.
Great.
Everyone paid.
Responsible for the division of those funds to the leagues, because the leagues, when you get the leagues, the appropriation goes by number of children within the leagues. So we need to make sure that that division is divided properly. So do we have someone who is going to appropriate that the way it's supposed to be?
The staff at Recreation who have done it in the past, I'm sure they will continue to do the same process. So I don't see a problem with it.
As long as it's fair.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As long as the paperwork is given to us on time, they'll be paid. Tim Brown, if you want to talk about adult recreation and wellness program. Yes, Mr. Rivera.
Morning, Council. Morning, everybody else. So, as of the adult fitness program, we started at NJCU when I got hired here in the middle of March, and we had about 45 participants that were signed up through the season from September to May of 18th, and usually it is finished from May 18th to September. So what did I do was I connected with St. Peter's University, and which was a great program because we introduced other activities that they offered us to have. And we had dance, which was a new thing, and we had Pete that's sitting over there. He had introduction of dance. He has now a following of participants. I call them kids, believe it or not, but it's a great opportunity for them to go out and dance for an hour, 3 days a week. That was for Summer 1, which goes from May 21st to June 28th. And we had 4 different activities going on. Pete did the dance and the senior active learning, which is flexibility, balance, and strength and cardio. I did the cycling and the spinning, and also was in the pool with some of the participants learning how to adapt, which was really a great opportunity for them, because some of them never even got to swim in their life. And I'm really grateful to say that some of those people got to swim in the deep end for the first time, and if you saw their eyes when they came out, they couldn't believe that they were in the 12-foot water, so it was kind of neat to see that. We did an aqua fit, which was an exercise opportunity for the seniors, using kickboards, pull bullies. We did that for an hour. We did that for 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. We went from, like, saying 45 throughout the year to 90 participants in 6 weeks. We recruited throughout the district. I'm a former educator. Throughout the city, and it was a great opportunity. We had transportation dropping them off to us and then bringing them back.
You also included public housing.
Oh, we went from Kerry Woods all the way to Holland Gardens to Booker T to Hudson Gardens. So we were all throughout the district, the city, and it was wonderful. And we got to meet a lot. We have team leaders. We utilize them. They can do the phone chains that connect with them if something happens on the day before. We can connect with them. We do an email system. We actually have half the seniors doing texting, and it's great because they do text me back and say, Tim, I can't be there tomorrow. I have a doctor's appointment. So the communication is really wonderful that we've been seeing. Presently, we're doing Summer 2 for the seniors, and it's the dance, active learning, and we have the cycling. We have no swimming. I know some of them are disappointed because they really want to be in the pool as much as possible, but we're going to work on that in the near future for next summer. We have the power walk on Monday and Friday at Liberty State Park, and they love that because they just get to go outdoors. They do have no transportation during the summer, but they do work it out themselves to get down there.
And we're also incorporating a 13, 14, and 15-year-old swim clinics to train these youngsters to become lifeguards for the city of Jersey City.
Yes, Council.
Thank you.
Provide wellness program to the Jersey City senior is appreciated. Thank you. We have put the button now. If you see that this council had 3 different wellness programs, one by HR, Human Resource Department, the city employee, another one for Health and Human Service wellness program, and then our Recreation Department is a wellness program. So citywide we have 3, but one HR we understand for city employee, but 2 programs, one for Health and Human Service, one program is a Recreation Department. Can we combine together instead of the 2 different departments, same program, the birthing senior left and right. I think we see that we do duplicate service by different departments. Can we have some put it together and either one department run the program? I think that's the one way we can save the taxpayer dollar. I'm not going to say the waste. I think we can provide the same or more high quality service wellness program, and we can save taxpayers dollars. I think we should be looking to your department that had the director and the Health and Human Services, they should sit down together. Yes, please.
Stacy and I have been having discussions of using some of her facilities, particularly for our disadvantaged youth, so that's not a problem.
Yes, please.
Sure.
Every dollar saved is here.
Oh,
Something we own, something. So I think when I see your the representation, and therefore when I hear that we have a duplicate service, you know.
But I think they get grants too.
Well, yeah, we're basically looking at getting the mobility with them for their health, building their muscles and strength like that, but we definitely will meet with Stacy to see how we could collaborate.
Not wasting increase the taxpayer dollars more in a services. So please look at that further. And maybe 2018 is gone almost, and about 2019, when we see the city budget, we would like to see, not only myself, probably all the members of the same feeling, they should be combined together. One department should be run for, wellness program for the senior and the kids, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, let me just, Tim, question. So, I like the fact that you do have all these people in the program, the elderly people. My question is, do you have, for example, are you like basic life support qualified? Do you have the credentials to be in that swimming pool with those people? God forbid if something happens. Do you have that?
Lifeguards.
We have lifeguards. Yes.
Well, the lifeguards are signed by Mrs. Nunes. Yeah.
And you're working with...
So he's doing clinics.
To Michael, Councilman Young's point, we've talked about this, I was, for the record, working with Joan. In Senior Affairs?
Sure, we can reach out to Joe, not a problem.
Okay, great. Any other questions on this?
No. Okay, thank you.
Wait, Councilman Solomon?
Yeah, just a quick statement, which I think we'll talk about it more, but just making sure that the paramount of children's safety comes first.
Absolutely.
Making sure that so you guys can all programs feel 100% on all these things.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks.
Proper staff is with them, that's what.
As well as staff.
Also,
I mean, we have issues, but we try to address them.
Sure. The President, just add to one. I see this one, the old program.
I want that because we have a new one starting up in September under my leadership, so I don't want you to be under the impression that we're getting rid of programs. We're operating those programs that was already put in place, and then in September, as we move forward, you will get each week activities that we will be putting on.
We provide just make us our life a little easier with all the council members. If we are able to provide Word A, all the program and the run at the Word A grab at the location.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So when people come to my district, my office, say, Councilman, what kind of programs, where they have program they have. Instead I look at all those things, I can say, yes, PS20 school has so much program,
Yes.
PS7, so 25, we can point out what programs are available in each location, so we can serve the people more easier. Not only that, it can bring up to some more people join the program itself.
Absolutely,
Can you do that
Councilman.
for us?
We will do that in the
All right.
2018-2019 journal,
Yeah.
and we'll make sure that you have a copy for
District
your office
by,
and your
word
staff.
by word, so
Absolutely.
what
Yes.
the location program.
The only thing I need is maybe this afternoon, if all the council members can get it, is a list of all of your employees that have been background checked, that are dealing with all these, young men and women, youth. Because we don't want to put anybody in jobs that have not been
You need
background
to
checked.
address that to HR. You need to address that to HR.
Well, at least.
No one is employed.
Based on the situation we had a year ago,
Right, exactly.
no one can be hired unless the background check is clear. They're not supposed to hire no one without it clear because of the situation. So everybody should be clear before they
So
hire.
I'm going to ask
Go ahead.
Council Secretary to reach out to HR to fulfill that request, and Councilman Rivera's request, okay?
So we don't hire anyone without a background check.
The youth and the parents, I want to say thank you publicly. because we are well represented again in the summer programs, and I hear a lot of people on the streets saying a lot of good things about, my kid was hired, and, I have 3 kids in the program that's going right now, and they love it, so I just want to say thank you.
I don't close the door on any kid, because living in urban centers, where are these kids going if we don't open the schools and camps up for them? So we open them and register them each day they come in. I want to thank you, Councilman, and your aide for coming to our orientation for our youth employment, and Councilwoman Waterman and Council President for coming to our parent orientation, which we had 1,500 parents at Ferris High School opening up the camp, where, there was one line in the letter saying if you didn't show up, your kid would forfeit a seat, but that's called empowering parents. 1,500 showed up, and we are rocking and rolling.
The academic part, the math and the reading.
Yes, we're doing
and
math and reading because Jersey City, as you read the newspapers,
right,
we are the lowest in math and reading. So we have to help these kids. We can't put the brains in the freezer for 2 months. They need the skills academically. And we did add math and reading. And the parents voted to support that. Yeah, yes, and we also have them doing a community service where the Poland Spring bottle caps, we're collecting that for the disadvantaged kids and cancer victims for the summer, so that they'll go, and each kid in camp at the end of summer, we hope to have a couple thousand to submit. And just getting them involved with the community.
Before we close on this subject, so just to conclude, we're going to have that special closed session, should say. Margaret, you weren't here, so if you just get the date. But I think the easiest, as I think about it, the next meeting is until August, middle of August, so it's probably best to do that. You don't need it?
No.
Okay.
You make a presentation already.
Well, because what happens is that, again, Councilwoman Joyce, I always think of her when I read this book. Who moved the cheese? What happens is a new director, change for the betterment for the city of Jersey City. Is everybody going to like me? No. We don't even go to say McDonald's, but we have to do the job for the taxpayers of Jersey City. I'm not here for personal relationships. I'm here to do the job on behalf of the kids and taxpayers of Jersey City. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
All right, man. Take care, Tim. Nice to see you, Bill. All right. Folks, thank you all for coming. If you're leaving, please leave quietly. We have a meeting to continue here. Please, any conversations, take outside. Folks, Miss Jeffrey, we have Diana Jeffrey here. She's here for item number 3H. This is an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of block 25001, lot 68.01, more commonly known by the street address of 174-178 MLK Drive, Martin Luther King Drive, Jr., to Jersey City Redevelopment Agency. Okay, Diana, would you like to speak to that?
So this is a conveyance ordinance. This is a city-owned parcel. It's a vacant lot at 174-178 MLK. It's also a little piece of it butts up against the Stegman. We have a designated redeveloper for this site, Webb Washington Community Development Corporation. The proposed project is a 25-unit, 2- and 3-bedroom mix, affordable housing, emerging market housing project, 2,700 square feet of commercials, 16 parking spaces.
3H. So 25 units, how many units is it? What would you say?
25 units total?
25 units total.
Okay?
A mix of 2 and 3 bedroom units. 2 and 3 bedroom units. How many affordable? We're still working that out in the redevelopment agreement, but it's going to be it's going to be a mix of affordable housing and emerging market housing. So that emerging market housing is usually about 120% AMI, and that's usually offered to working people. Webb, Washington Community Development. That is a, yes, MWE. It's Laverne is here.
It's minority development.
Yes.
It's me, the councilwoman. That's my project. Oh, I don't know who. Yeah, I'm Webb Washington. Oh, okay. I'm surprised. It's affordable housing, emerging market. Okay.
Here, I'll move over.
Webb Washington? I'm sorry, okay, well, it's me. I did the Webb Apartments on Oak Street, that was affordable. I did the Fred Martin Apartments, that's affordable. So coming to council meetings, people call me like, Councilman thought I worked for the city. I don't. I'm a community advocate. And a lot of people have nowhere to live in this city. They above, this is not low income. This is workforce housing. Affordable housing for people who work, and they got to make a certain amount of money. Emerging market is one step above affordable. That means they don't make $200,000, but they make $50,000, they make $40,000, $70,000, $80,000. They need somewhere to live. And a lot of people with children do not have nowhere to live in this city.
That this developer was a minority, that's all. That's why I just asked the question. Because part of the challenge is that for diversity and inclusion is that we don't get enough minority developers or contractors. So that's why I asked the question. I'm not assuming that you're a minority. That's why I asked the question.
Yes,
Are you a
ma'am, I
minority?
appreciate that.
And I'll say that one of the things that I've noticed is that in the Jackson Hill redevelopment area and the Morris Canal redevelopment area is the only area in the city where we have women who are developers, because most developers are men. So this is very, I think, kind of exciting.
So we know, City of Jersey, Councilman, can I ask? Yes. So now, City of Jersey, you're going to transfer ownership to JCRA, the 3 lot, a size probably 2,500, probably 110, 3 lot. What kind of price are we going to be transferred to JCRA? Is it free?
So the way that it works is that you transfer the lots to us, and then we go out and have the property appraised for the intended use, and then whatever we get, we pass through to the city. So the agency doesn't keep any of the money, it's a pass-through.
You're saying right, but when I see the JCRA financial statement, if things happen the way you describe, how can be JCRA is around $17-18 million in money in the bank?
Well, I don't know what financial statement you're looking at, and I don't know what you're talking about.
No, really, but I see that they are financial statement, they have like I think a 17-18 million. So maybe I'm wrong, but when I see that the website, they have a $17-18 million actually in the bank. So that's why I was wondering where that money come from. If it's the most JCRA is a part of that we transferred our land, then whatever you guys sell to the developer, whatever you make money, they're supposed to transfer back to City of Jersey City. But, Council President, when you see our budget, do you see any council see that the money come from the JCRA?
No,
as income?
We're an unfunded autonomous agency, so the city does not give us any money to operate. Our revenue is derived solely from the administrative fees we charge the developers and land sales of land that we own. Whenever we get land from the city and we convey it to a developer, whatever we get from the developer is passed back to the city. So 100% of what we get is passed back.
See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, last year we transferred several land to JCRA, and I didn't see any money come from the JCRA. Anybody see it? Maybe I missed something?
Well, you're going to have to identify specify which parcels you're talking about, when they were transferred, and I would be happy to give you, well,
I just wanted that the whole...
you're making a statement that you transferred land to the city, to the agency, and you haven't seen any money. So what I'm telling you is that if you were to provide me with the exact parcels, the address, the block and lot, when the transfers were made, I will provide you with a report on the status of those conveyances.
So then, why don't we do this way? Can you provide the 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, how many the land parcel we transfer to JCRA, and they give us how much they transfer money to the city of Jersey? Yes, simple. Instead, you ask me, why don't you provide to city council?
Well, could you make sure we see that, but this is a different issue.
I understand.
Okay, but she should give it.
I understand. You should provide us, since 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, till 18, as today, how many land we transfer city of Jersey to the JCRA, number one, and how much you transfer money after sell the land, how much your money transfer the city by years. Fair enough? Instead, you ask us that the land...
Let's see if I got what you're asking for. You want to know what transfers were made in 2013, 14, 15, 16, and 17?
Yes. And you guys probably sell the land.
And then you want to know, because sometimes you transfer property to us, but we don't sell it right away.
Fine. So why don't you sell it? So...
And just whatever the status
I will
is.
tell you what the status is of that
Yes,
project.
yes.
Okay.
So it's fair.
I don't know if 100% of the proceeds come back to us just for the, but I think the vast majority of the proceeds do come back to Jersey City. But it could be 100%. Okay.
So, so now, my question was that if we transfer the land to JCRA and make sure that if you sell the land to designate developer, to make sure that dollar come back to the Jersey City. But I didn't see when I see the budget book, I didn't see any money come from JCRA till today. And it's happened when I see that the JCRA final statement, they have $17, $18 million, so different years in the balance. That's what I'm saying, okay?
Okay.
If the land, if there's maybe I'm wrong.
We provide enormous services to the city, and we don't get any money from the city to do that. So, and we certainly aren't holding your money. But I will show you, and then we'll all be good.
Okay, please, okay?
All right.
Maybe I see the wrong statement, okay? So if
Sure.
I'm wrong, correct me, that's all.
Okay.
So, question, you said that the lots are on MLK between Whiteman and Stegman, right? And you said part of the lot wraps around the Stegman. Are you taking, so you're not taking that building in the corner?
Here, I can show you if you want to see. It's right. You want to?
Look at the map. No, that's somebody else, that's a business.
Oh, no, this is...
Yes, around it, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is a vacant lot.
This is a vacant lot. That building belongs to
These are
somebody
vacant
else.
lots. How long have they been vacant?
30 years.
Oh, gosh,
30
yeah.
years. And I think I spoke about this with the Executive Director, Diana Jeffrey. There's no one knocking on our door for this. So Laverne, what you're bringing there is...
Originally, Councilwoman, this project is part of the project that the late mayor, Glenn Cunningham, had did with Reverend Watley from Newark to send over there. We started at Wilkinson Avenue and was coming up to Stegman. We did the Fred Martin building on part of the parcel. We had to buy something from some of the private owners, but we did that building between Bidwell and Wegman, and then we still have a few lots on the corner of Wilkinson Avenue. That, with the Salvation Army, all this was part of a project, and we had to pay, me and the partners that I did the Fred Martin building with, we had to pay Reverend Watley $85,000 to get the right to build on this property. So money has, yes, okay?
You're going to have to give me a couple of months to do that. So, like 60 days, because that's a lot of research. So I'm just letting you know.
Transferred each year.
I'm accounting for all the properties, so.
So I'll get you break.
All right.
15, 16, 17.
Oh, okay, that's a lot easier.
Are we finished, Council President?
Okay, we are. Thank you, Laverne.
This is for
Thank you,
Bobby.
Dan.
Thank
This
you.
is for who?
That's Bobby's copy.
Okay. We have Deb Murray here at the WIC Clinic. Is she here?
Yes, I'm here.
She has Z17. Z17. Hello. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
State of New Jersey, Department of Health, Division of Women, Infants, and Children, WIC. Go ahead, Deborah.
This is pretty standard stuff, folks, right?
It is.
Yeah. Anyone have questions for Deb on this? You want to say anything? Thank you. Welcome.
It's a continuing grant. We've been funded here in Jersey City since 1976. It's quite a substantial grant, $1,807,584 in administrative funds. And vendors in Jersey City and Bayonne receive about $8 million in food that go to the vendors through the vouchers in the WIC program. So it's a substantial grant. I'm sorry?
Decrease since all this going on, did they?
Well, actually, Jersey City received $1 more this year than it did last year. So, but we're okay for now. Thank you.
Deb, you're the director of this?
Since 1977. Continuity of service. There you go. Thank you.
We've got Vivian Webb. She has 10Z1. Hi, Vivian. This is a resolution authorizing the payment of a claim submitted by Liberty Humane Society for Animal Sheltering Services. Hi.
Good morning. We at the Health Department, we actually have both sheltering and control with Liberty Humane. At one time, we had animal control in-house. So in doing so, we have two separate contracts, one for the sheltering and one for the control. And the time periods on them are off. And what they were contemplating doing at the end of last year was bringing them both together. But when we found out if we brought them both together, we would have to send the total contract out to bid. And there's really no service besides Liberty Humane around here who can provide this service to the city. So they decided to keep them separate. And that's why there's a lag in the time in where we had to pay the bill and the contract started. So our new contract period, instead of going from January to December, is now going from June until May of next year. And that's where the cost of the $139,000 is coming from.
What, yeah, what was that?
Sheltering, wasn't it?
No, that was, we did, yes, we did sheltering, and we've also done control. So it seems like every other month, we're coming to the council to ask for approval, because we have to go out to bid for, we do have to go out to bid for the control. So that's a 3-year contract. Now we have a 3-year contract for the sheltering as well now. And so the control was from 2017 to 2019. So that was May of 2017 to 2019, and the sheltering started this year. The actual 3-year contract started this year.
Contract at the last meeting, so I guess this is paying for the previous, and then we
That's
approved the new, the previous contract. And I guess they said we're saving money on the new contract?
Right, I remember, because it seemed like they just was here.
Yeah, so I think this is paying for the first 5 months before we change the contract.
Okay.
Yes.
Last week, Michael, myself, Tom DeGeese, Irene, and a couple others sat down about the shelter.
Yes.
And a lot more has to be done for the shelter. Especially now they're taking on Bayonne. There's talk of taking on possibly Union City. And it's a shame the way we treat these animals. And Irene needs more money. The county has to start stepping up to the plate, and so does the city of Jersey City. Has to start stepping up to the plate.
So what he says is right, because we pay Liberty Humane Society $300,000 for the sheltering for the animals, and we pay around $600,000 administration. Meantime, if we look at the Humane Society, they have 3 animal controller. In the meantime, they take another job from the Bayonne, Hoboken, and the amount they pay, I'm pretty sure not enough to hire more animal officers. So in other words, what we pay, what we're gonna get it, we're gonna get peanuts. So make sure that if they take a job, the other town, small town, they should be increased to manpower for animal control. You know what I'm saying?
Right, so monthly, they send us a summary of all the services, and then included in that summary is a list of all of their offices that they have. So there are more than, I'm pretty sure, it goes over to the health officer, but there are more than 3 offices on the actual summary that they send us.
There are more offices there, but animal control offices, I think, we know that 3. Maybe I'm wrong, you know what I'm saying, but as I understand, animal control offices are there with only 3 people. With the 3 people,
that's not enough.
Based on that, we pay $300,000 sheltering, $600,000 to administration, and in the meantime, they continue looking for other cities.
Right.
So make sure that every time they take other place, they should be increased their manpower. They should be changed to more, charging more for the small town for their service. Other than that, while we pay $900,000, not only serve that the people of Jersey, the animal, they provide my dollars spend some Hoboken and the Bayonne. So just you gotta keep an eye for the matters.
We will.
Okay?
We will.
That's what I'm saying.
Question. So when there is an animal problem down in Jersey City, they should contact Liberty Humane Response Team directly and not the health department, right?
Well, you dial the animal control number, which actually brings in Liberty Humane.
24/7 service. Yeah. You believe one up. But don't believe it. No, I'm just saying.
No, I agree with you.
You know, but they will see that the next day, not today. The 24/7 service means that they're ensuring 24/7. Not service, you understand? All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. So, Carmen. Carmen has 10Y.
I have 10Y and 10Z.
Jersey City's fiscal year 2018 annual application/action plan and authorizing submission to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. And you said 10Y and 10? ZZ, which is, sorry about that, resolution ratifying the acceptance and execution of a grant agreement between the City of Jersey City and New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for funding under the Community Service Block Grant for fiscal year 2018. Okay, Con.
Hello. So, first one that Sean presented was the resolution for the annual action plan. As the memo states, this started back last year around November 3rd. We held a technical assistance hearing. We had over about 200 or so attendees. We are now here today to present the budget that I've hopefully met with each and every one of you in regards to community development's budget and its process for this fiscal year. This resolution is to submit my application. There will be an additional resolution to accept the contract of the awards. I still do not have my funding yet. So Councilman Yoon, to your point about, I think when Director Williams was here, this reso is so that I can submit to HUD our proposal, and so therefore in October it would be the acceptance resolution of the funding when they give me my award letter.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Notice on here, you got $262,000 to Garden State Episcopal.
Sure.
You got $100,000 to Garden State Episcopal. My personal experience with Garden State Episcopal is they do zero.
See?
And I think it's a shame. I've sent people around there, and they tell them, oh, there's nothing they can do for them.
Okay.
I think we should pull all the money from Garden State Episcopal.
So, Council President?
Yes.
Can you add to what the Councilman Richard Bojana say? If we see the CDBG fund from the $5.2 million total, almost more than $700,000 go to what the Councilman Richie Bujano mentioned. And when I look at their tax returns, that most people run by their programs by volunteer, but they have 3 paid employees make over $100,000. And in my experience, because the gentrification Ward D is a very serious issue, so we usually recommend that people go this organization. When they come back, I heard that not even one positive reaction from the people. It's not only myself. When you say the gentrification, 2 places is very serious, and Ward D and Ward C. And the councilman Ward C, which one have the same feeling like what I have. Meantime, we provide $700,000, and they said, what are they called? That the homeless outreach. I don't know what kind of programs they have. What is a homeless outreach? What are they provide actually?
I mean, the homeless.
And why we give the $700,000?
So part of the coordinated entry system that we have in partnership with the county is how we dedicate our funds and services to coordinate homeless outreach. And Garden State Episcopal is the lead agency that the city contracted with, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, as when it developed this model. And so in order to try to understand the homeless issues in Jersey City and within Hudson County, it is a coordinated entry model for us to serve. If you are having issues in recommending funding, at this point is to accept the amendment award. I need to know what you will decide if you're going to pull the funding and not support this, because I then need to put an unallocated line item in this budget, because again, this resolution is to accept our plans as funding as is. The resolution in October is to accept the award.
So we have something that
Sure.
I pressed for funding from Garden State Episcopal. I think they've on affordable housing development, as well as in their programs, that they are one of the few agencies that are doing exceptional work in this area. Now, granted, I will say that when it comes towards C and D, I don't necessarily know what the reception is there. I know from the south side in Greenville, in terms of what they've built and the programs and the outreach, that their reputation is unblemished there, that people sing their praises in the Greenville section of Jersey City. They are the agency that's behind the I Love Greenville plan, which is about revitalizing the Greenville neighborhoods and communities, and has gotten the neighborhood stabilization grants from the state, over $1 million, 1.5, maybe more. And that they're leveraging those dollars as well, in addition to the dollars from the city, to maximize their impact in trying to address some of the low-income poverty issues that are related to CDBG.
So affordable housing, we give them another $1 million on top of $700,000. So we give them 1.7, almost close to $2 million. We got 5.2 million, right? That's a 5.6. We almost give the half of the CDBG grant to that one location, one organization. And probably did a great job. But as a councilman, I only can see what kind of got reaction from the people who went there.
That's right.
That's the key word. Doesn't matter what kind of programs they have. If their programs do not work, the people looking for help, then we should not have no reason to fund. That's number one. Number two, and they have a meeting at your office regarding for the CDBG fund or other fund. One of the fund actually, one of the organization asked us so much, and CD, your department, give to them more than what they ask. So I want to know they corrected the numbers here.
No, so what was proposed when presenting hasn't changed. Ideally, we have to monitor our projects, and that's a HUD terminology in regards to continuously either auditing or continuously oversight or reviewing these programs and assessing what we're doing. And in regards to your point that it takes a lot of money to fund and operate these calls, and you can't term out these grants in just dollars and cents, and that each specific grants under the HUD entitlement program, which are 4 different programs, are for four distinct type of things. And so affordable housing development as their development arm is completely evaluated on a different perspective. Their operations on how they do in their homeless outreach, of course, I mean, that's kind of the charge of our programs, to constantly assess and to do more. I would make the recommendation of having a meeting with the executive director on how we can look and evaluate our and I know you have.
We had 2 meetings right here in this room with them.
And so ideally, we have a problem. We have an issue and opportunity to address the homeless services and needs in this city. And that is something that we are continuously charging in community development, in our charge on how to do that, whether it's youth, adults, and those that are reentry, and some other models. And there should be additional funding dedicated to homeless outreach. The community development block grants are not enough money to serve that population. If I were to pull a report in regards to what we're monitoring at the county, I mean, again, you've got over 1,200, homeless families in regards to the shelters and rapid housing, permanent housing, those with disabilities, those that are chronically homeless, all different variations of numbers of how we address our homeless services. And so to the point, I'm not here to defend the organization. I am just here to say, in regards to the community development's budget and how we're allocating resources, it is probably an evaluation of decreasing funding in certain areas and increasing funding in other areas.
So now, then put it this way, okay?
Sure.
Then value of the organization spend almost $1.7 million. So when is the last times that your department put out the actual audit, the field audit of that organization?
We go out monitoring every year, so we coordinate with the county in January.
How old every year? How old would you
I mean, for our ESG and Hopper programs, we go out every year. So in January, Jose and Caitlin and the county went out and they were monitor the programs first quarter of this year, I would say.
So then, my next question, how auditing is a key, but not a different way to auditing or the monitoring the field. But today, your department, the compliance officer, go out to check all the list of their contact person. Maybe you get feedback from the people visiting their location. So what is our rules are very simple.
You want a copy of in regards to the risk analysis that we did?
The reaction happened to us very negative, not happy. Your officer, did you ever get a chance to contact with the people who went their organization? Not only their office, you know what I'm saying? That's the way you guys will real feedback from the people who receive looking for service.
We do, in regards to whether it's a complaint or whether people were not served, we do evaluate that in regards to how we're assessing it. And I can get you a copy of what the monitoring report was of them, but I will say that Garden State Episcopal, among other agencies across the city that we do monitor, ranked higher among others. Right?
So why don't you do this way? Send one of the officers to my office. I'm going to set up the meeting with 3 people who went there who is not happy with that.
Sure.
People go there and they tell them there's nothing they can do for them.
Yeah, so that's what I heard. Every people went there, same things what you say.
Councilman, I'm happy to be at that meeting as well.
Yes, great.
Concerns around that, and I think, and I say this, and I'm not, look, I'm not discrediting those folks, I don't know who they are and what the issues were. And certainly if there are issues that need to be addressed and concerns, if service isn't being rendered, then it certainly should be addressed. So, but I think you'll also find that at least I've always found that Garden State is willing to address those concerns and matters, and if there were things out there, they'd be willing to get right on it. Yeah.
Probably, but they're out there, they're unsatisfied people is there. Our effort as a city council try to limit even those kind of small complaints caused by people of Jersey City. So we try to reason each other. They have a good service, but we're looking for better service by that organization, serve the people.
The homeless. Carmen, can I ask you one more question? We had the meeting last week with the Humane Society, the county, and others, and they said they're not eligible to receive CDBG money, the Humane Society?
The Humane Society?
Yes.
No, they have to serve people, low-income individuals.
People, I mean, technically they are serving people. They're serving the people of Jersey City.
Those animals are better than some human beings, you know that.
I guess to give you an example, we wouldn't be able to support their budget or refund them on any type of services if it was just dedicated to animals. If they created a program where you're mirroring low-income people and how their programming is working in that capacity, and an administrative cost to the individuals that were working, maybe like an economic development program and a summer program or something to that effect, that could be work. But if their budget is strictly for animals, it's not how block grant program works.
So suppose they distribute distemper shots for dogs for free. and people go down there, would they be eligible then?
I wouldn't.
Or rabies shots?
So you're talking about the administrative costs for the dogs and for the tetanus shots? No, that would not be eligible.
It's for the dog.
It's for the beneficiary, or the HUD terminology, right, who will be benefiting has to be a low-income, moderate-income individual, not a low and moderate-income person. I mean, dog or animal.
Animal.
Well, but I told you, there's some people worse than animal.
Let me, anyone else have questions about 10Y? I do have a question. So, the funding for this period will be April 1st of 2018?
Correct. So my
Okay.
fiscal year is April 1st, 2018. It goes to March 31st, April 19. We are late, but that was due to funding from the federal level. Yep.
And then the recent hearings you've had
Yep.
are for next year's cycle already? This one?
It was for this one, yeah. Yeah, we had 3 public hearings.
I know.
We had 3.
Can I see so the action plan itself is already drafted? Everything's...
So, for the most part, yes. So after today or tomorrow, after Wednesday, we have the draft of the annual action plan was already a public display. So if you want a copy of that, I can send you the email link to it.
But is this authorizing the submission of that action plan itself too, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see a
We'll
copy
take
of
it out of
that.
draft status and then say it's final.
And is it amendable at this point?
At this point,
The action plan, not the allocations.
the action, at this
Like-
point, no. In regards, at this given point, in turning it to HUD, I can't submit any amendments. After the fact, because if I were to do an amendment, HUD requires that I do put any amendments on public display and go through a process, right, whenever I've had to amend previous years. So I'm submitting this to HUD on July 31st, right, at the end of this month. So from here to today, I can't amend it. After it's passed, there could be amendment, then I can amend it.
The action plan itself.
The action plan itself, after this, yep.
I'm looking at amend the allocations of the dollars. I'd like to see, I'm not sure what's in there, but in terms of prioritization with regard to, again, kind of getting back to affordable housing, rent control issues, tenant landlord stuff.
So affordable
and then
housing.
Immigrant related.
It's in there.
Yeah.
It's in there.
I just want to see the
You
language
want
and
to
see
see the
how
language?
strongly we're
Okay.
wording some of that stuff. It's,
Okay. The other.
Okay.
That's it. The other one is this,
10Z.
is ratifying the acceptance of this CSBG grant. One second. So back, I believe in March, we presented a resolution for the acceptance of the initial allocation. The budget office had contacted my office after the fact, stating that budget needed to do their part first. So we needed to ratify that resolution so that we can actually accept any subsequent increases thereafter. So they thought once we accepted the first one, it was fine, but there's installments, and so we had to ratify it. So that's what this was.
You see that the organization for other states so-and-so, another $100,000 from the CSBG grant.
Okay.
So they got some dollars from the city of Jersey City.
It is, yes.
So when you meet with them,
We'll meet with them, I'll make
So
sure.
do me a favor, because this one we have to approve this Wednesday, right?
Yes.
So contact with them, please let's call us so we can set up a meeting before Wednesday so they can explain to us that the homeless outreach program, what it is, what did they provide, you know what I'm saying? And if we're able to provide some list of services made in the Word DNC. I think the rest of the world they have not much issue, but CND has a major issue.
Okay. Council President, you want to be there?
All right?
Yes. Marlene, this meeting,
It's got to be canceled this week. I'm not going to.
let me just go back to, can I go back to the previous resolution, 10Y, I guess it is? So under economic development, that's LMI program. Remind me again what that is?
Economic development.
But what is the allocation for itself, like to who and
So the $50,000.
internally? Is that a?
It's internal, it's a.
Oh, to the division of
To the
economic.
division. Yep,
And that was like job training?
correct.
Yeah. Is that, I know we talked about this, I'm trying to remember. Was that OJT on the job training, or what was it?
So this is economic development, so we have to set aside, so in doing our annual action plan and our CAPER, which is the evaluation of our work every year, we're not meeting our benchmarks with economic development programs, so we set aside funding to create economic development internally so that we could administer. These two other line items are self-funded out. This is internally for DCD to work with ED, I would say, the Economic Development Corporation, to increase.
So we could administer a program either internally or we may grant it out?
Correct.
Okay, great, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next? Linda Ivory Green, HHS, back on. So I just also want to say, Linda, if you can bring back to Director Flanagan, I'm glad to see division directors coming, and it's great to see you all come forward like this, and her empowering her division directors in that sense as well, right? Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
She has 10Z2, Z3, and Z15, is it?
Yes.
10Z2.
Z3.
It's a gift from Dunkin' Donuts. I'm not sure about that.
Where's the Dunkin'?
We can see it. It's the donuts they can't sell at 11 o'clock at night.
Okay. Okay, on Z2. For National HIV Testing Day, which the Department of Health and Human Services has observed along with the Jersey City AIDS Task Force, which is part of Health and Human Services. June 27th is the National Day of Observance, and Dunkin' Donuts was nice enough to sponsor $200 in gift cards, and it's for coffee, not donuts. Okay, and that's that. And that we gave to the community at the event. Where's my, I've been here since what time? Where's mine? Okay.
10Z3, a gift from Extra Supermarket.
Extra Supermarket for the same event, June 27th, National HIV Testing Day. They provided $200 worth of fruit and water that we in turn gave out to the community at that event.
And then the last one is 10Z15, resolution authorizing grant awards to the Jersey City Medical Center for the delivery of Stop the Bleed tourniquet education from the Department of Health and Human Services in partnership with the New Jersey Healthcare Quality Institute.
Right. New Jersey Healthcare Quality Institute is offering grant money to provide education in tourniquet usage and workshops, which will be held at the Bethune Center in partnership with the Jersey City Medical Center.
Okay, questions about that? Anyone? All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Brian, you're up. Brian's got 3 items as well. It's 10Z, 35, 36, and 37.
Good afternoon, Councilman.
Good afternoon.
Okay. 10Z.
10Z35. Is a resolution awarding a professional services contract with the descendants of Stan Musial, the Musial Group PA, in connection with the schematic design and development, construction documents, and administrative services for the Rescue 1 new firehouse project.
Are they really the descendants of Stan?
No, it's just a silly clerk thing.
Yes. So as you may be aware, the existing North District is completed, and as the police have vacated that building, directly adjacent to it is the old Rescue 1 that is in about the same condition, if not worse, at this point. And so Rescue 1 has been on the boards for a number of years for its upgrade. So we've put out the professional services agreement out and you see we got a lot of responses. We reviewed thoroughly with the fire department and went out to visit sites for the architects that we interviewed. and that's how we determined where we are recommending awarding to the Museo Group. They seem to be the most highly recommended for this project.
Questions, Council?
What's the reason for disqualification? I see the one just at the top says disqualified. What would be a reason?
Actually, that's an engineering firm. It's not an architectural firm. And so they're subbing out the work to the architect. And the RFP, we want the architect to be the major project overseer.
So if they're going to sub it out, how can they come in that much less than everyone else?
We have the same question. We're not sure if they forgot something or left something out. But you can clearly see that they were not in the same league as the rest of the pack of architects. It's under renovations right now.
Well, as people are asking me, they want it reopened.
I'm getting the same questions.
Well, it's a year-long contract.
A year long. They built the Empire State Building in a year. They can't fix a firehouse. It takes a year.
It's 3 months underway. I will forward you the latest construction schedule.
Would you please?
Sure.
Because I'm getting a lot of complaints from people down there. They want the firehouse reopened.
Understood.
Even though take time to job right.
I'm sorry.
So this says it's a three-year contract. So it's the architecture, and are they doing the construction?
Yes.
Doing both?
The architect is going to, well, we need the architect of record to be on the site during construction. So we asked for all of these to be competitive from day one.
The architect, who's doing the construction?
We won't know who's doing the construction until we put it out to bid. But the architect's going to stay with the single project from start to finish.
So we expect this to be done within 3 months?
3 years, yes. Yes.
And so it's capital dollars.
Correct.
What are, if you could provide what was budgeted to this particular project?
Provide which budget?
Yeah.
Okay.
$600,000 for 2 years. Right?
Let me just clarify. What's been budgeted was for the design. We've never budgeted for the construction aspect of it yet. So we're focusing on the design at this point.
How much did you budget for this?
The BA is roughly, we're roughly saying around 8 to 10 million.
No, I mean, what was budgeted in?
Oh, for the design?
The design, yeah.
500,000.
500,000, so you're at 600,000.
Yeah, we are a little bit over, but like I said, you know, when we reviewed and interviewed the architects and discussed with the fire department, we felt most comfortable with Museo.
Fine, that's just, that's 100,000 less that was budgeted for something else, somewhere within your plan ultimately, right? So, your capital plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it won't roll out all at once. They don't write a $600,000 check, so it'll happen over time. So you can make it up without hurting anyone.
We've had a lot of experience with consultants due to the, you know, understaffing of architects in the office, and, you know, consultants require some oversight also. So the better, it's sort of a trade-off. The better we get off the line, the better off we'll be in the future during construction.
So, Council President? Yes. So, my concern is that we're going to pay approximately $600,000 for that project, which will be construction cost to $8 to $10 million. But we pay $600,000 for design development, construction document, and the construction administration service for the Rescue 1 now. And this term of the contract 3 years. So in other words, we can finish the total project in 3 years, yes?
That's what we're aiming for, yes.
3 years. Interesting. So this $600,000 not just for the architecture design. This is the company running the show for the build at the buildings. And in case if a city not able to find the funding or so-and-so, not able to in 3 years, then after 3 years, then what kind of dollar we have to pay extra for this company? Because service period of 3 years, I like to have a opportunity here. Instead of terms of 3 years contract, we like to say that till complete project for $600,000. It's more safe to taxpayer side, other than 3 years term, 3 years later they say, well, our service term is over, you gotta pay another $500,000 or so-and-so, then we tie it up because this company already bid up the construction, we cannot change horse in the race. So city of just gonna get screwed again, taxpayer. So when we pay $600,000, we should be put in the contract, instead of 3 years of term, we should be say that finish the project. Because this is the company to oversight the whole project, beginning to end. Can we change it? So we don't have to pay extra dollars for this professional service.
Well, the challenge there is that this is the architect, and they do not control the public contracts law of the state of New Jersey. So when we go out to bid, when the city goes out to bid, there are things that are completely out of their control, which would be, when we did the West District, Brian can give you the details, we had two of the bids had to be thrown out. So we went through an entire bid process, and they were disqualified for some reasons the first time. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, so the architect's not responsible for that.
Right.
So I don't think the building will be built in 3 years.
It depends on how you draft the RFP. If we put in the RFP, say that we're looking for price for beginning and end, instead of putting term, then much easier to control the dollar. You know what I'm saying? Because over the years, West District, municipal city buildings, the DPW buildings, in every building we build, because we print the term, because this is the company going to oversight construction beginning to end, then we should be paid for the price to beginning to end. Can be long or shorter. So we can say the put a cap. Okay, we're going to do 3 years, but cap for 1 year, so we can put some wait fund. Because how do you run an RFP, and make the story can be different.
Councilman Young is asking for the amendment
yes.
to Article 2, Section 2 of the contract, where it reads, such described services shall be performed within a period of 36 months after execution of this agreement, and then strike out the unless additional time is agreed to in writing by the city, and put in something like, or upon completion of the project, or some formal legal language that's allowable.
Was this based already? I'm sorry? You an RFP or bid? This was the actual RFP.
So Corporation Council?
Yes.
So we got this especially professional service. Over the 6 or 5 years experience as a council person, once we hire the professional company, when you extend any term of their service, the price actually more than what original contract. So over the years, I see that many cases, city tax gets screwed because we put a term. So can't you, the way Council President mentioned to that, somewhere we...
We'll take a look, we'll talk to...
Yes.
I don't know anyone who signed a contract that capped it.
At least, if you extend the term, we should put in at least, when you over more than 3 years, we pay so much. So at least we know that how much we will be paid. So we build up the safeguard.
That should be in the proposal.
Is it a liquidated damages in the proposal?
I don't believe for professional services.
Not for this. That's not what they're... So
construction, yes.
I think in the RFP it should say that, the response.
Right.
So let's look at it.
But you guys are very smart. That's why make 6 figures, looking to find a way to build up the safety guard for taxpayer. That's what I'm looking for. Peter? When you make that kind of dollars, you got to work hard.
That's why we went to a third party to build the annex. That's the reason. It would be a guaranteed price by a guaranteed time.
Yes, Brian, you heard that, right? That is one of the problem what we have. Let's correct the problem.
I mean, if it can be done, we'll do it.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay. Let's move on to 10Z36. This is another contract to the Musial Group again. Connection with design and construction administration services for the Historic Preservation City Hall side entrance stairs rehabilitation project number 2018-009 for the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture.
They did a great job.
Why can't they do the side? They did a great job. Except for starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, waking the people up across the street.
They still did a great job.
Huh?
They still did a wonderful job. Yep, they did.
Why aren't we using them for that?
Well, the side steps there are structural issues with those that are outside of the qualifications of our internal staff. We have, and it's a historic building within the historic overlay area. So we have to have a historic preservation architect on board to draw up the plans. And these are very complicated situations on both sides of the building. The front steps actually lean against the building. The side steps historically fly over and land on their own foundations, and that's part of the problem that we're dealing with now.
Okay.
And I should also note that the only ADA compliant access is also affected by this. So it's better to do it once and do it right.
So after we finish this one, we have a fund to repair.
Yes.
Restore, right?
Yes.
Good.
Okay. Questions? Last one for Brian is 10Z37.
Which is a resolution authorizing an amendment to the contract with HMR Architects for architectural and engineering services in connection with the Lowe's Theater standpipe and emergency lighting improvements.
Council, this is exactly what we were just talking about. We have a historic preservation architect that we are supposed to use for the Lowe's Theater project in accordance with the MOU and the Friends of the Lowe's. We're very close to being able to put this job out to bid, but there's a few changes that need to be made, and we need to extend the professional's contract, which is set to expire in about a week.
So, Council President? Yes. So, when they built the building in the Journal Square, 3 towers, they supposed to, I think, contribute some dollar to City of Jersey City?
Right.
Right?
$2 million.
$2 million, right?
Where is it?
Those money going to be used for this one, or are we going to have separate dollars from the taxpayers? We got to make a
Yeah, this project is funded by Hudson County. This project is funded by Hudson County Open Space. Yeah.
All right.
While we're talking about the Lowe's, another issue that came up this weekend, Peter and Mr. Rolando, would you please let us know where that $2 million is? Because the people want it turned over to the Lowe's. 4 years it's been held up. It belongs to the Lowe's. There's work that has to be done there on the fire systems, and that money belongs in the Lowe's, not held up because of political reasons.
Well, that's what this is. The standpipe system is.
Yeah, this is not that money. So 2 million, right? I'll follow up on it. What's the name of the project? What was the name of the project?
What project?
The one that was supposed to give us 2 million.
Work that has to be done on the fire systems.
No, the 2 million. Where is it coming from?
KRE.
Yeah, KRE.
4 years ago.
3 projects, the 3 towers built in Journal Square. They're supposed to community contribution, so and so.
Okay, I'll follow up.
It's being held in advance with the Jersey City Redevelopment.
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
That's a lot of BS. The money belongs to the Lowe's Theater, and it's a political issue, and the time is over for the politics. Give the money to the Lowe's, and let's get the work done.
Okay. Any questions for Ryan on the item that's before us? Nothing left.
You're okay.
For all that, thank you.
I live for that affirmation one day. Matt's got a bunch of stuff. So first reading ordinances, all of them?
Yes.
Let's start at, where do you want to start on this, Matt?
Let's go in order, I guess.
Let's go in order. So you got IJK, 3I, 3J, and 3K.
Okay, so 3I is a relatively small amendment to map B of the Morris Canal redevelopment plan. There's currently a property at the corner of Saddam and Communipaw that is a mixed-use building, historic Italianate building that has a commercial space built. I've included a picture of the building in the packet, three-story brick building, and it's because of its location and currently in the R zone, it's been difficult to use it as such. So the owner of the property requested an amendment, met with the community, everyone was in support, and that is the ordinance before you.
Councilor Robinson, Mr. Ward? Yeah, this was already brought up to the community at a few community meetings, and the community is in favor for it. Actually, they want to see all of those brownstones restored back to, commercial spaces. Good. On Communipaw, so. Yeah. Ground floor. The ground floor, yes. Because a lot of them, I guess, 10, 20, 30 years ago became apartments. They took the commercial space and just created apartments out of it. I guess it wasn't really a big need for the commercial spaces, and the community seems to want them all to be kind of reverted back. So I guess this is the first step for, bringing some life back to that area, which is real close to the Liberty State Park Light Rail Station.
Okay, any question on that? Anyone related to this? Okay.
So, Councilman, well, we're there, right? Okay.
All right, the next item is 3J.
An ordinance of the council adopting amendments to the Enos Jones redevelopment plan, incorporating property north of 9th Street and thereby eliminating the 9th and Brunswick redevelopment plan.
So if you're familiar with the area just north of Enos Jones, the Hamilton House, it's the first phase of a three-phase project. And as the Enos Jones redevelopment plan emerged, there was always the intention of incorporating the area that's known as 9th and Brunswick redevelopment plan, the Hamilton House and the three phases, into that plan, but the details weren't worked out when the initial plan was adopted. The developer of the 9th and Brunswick area, the three-phase project, has been working with the community. There's been implementation already of some of the elements that were now that would now be codified in the Enos Jones redevelopment plan, such as rails to trails or bike lane, but right now it's going to exist in the form of a dog park. But the amendments that are before you are basically a carryover of 9th and Brunswick into the Enos Jones redevelopment plan. So it's being incorporated or annexed into this area. And then there's also additional language in the form of the bonus E language that includes, it better describes the dog park as well as inclusionary housing requirements for any third phase of that project.
Who's the developer?
E.L. Schuster.
Who?
E.L. Schuster.
All right. Who's doing the Emerson building?
The Emerson building?
Yeah, the old Emerson building.
Yes.
Yes, the Emerson building.
What about it?
No, never mind. I just wanted to hear the name come up.
Councilman Rivera?
Yeah. This is Enos Jones Park.
That's right.
There's a lot of property there that, they can have their dogs walking and everything. My concern is that skate park, why don't we redo the skate park that's there?
Well, so as part of this amendment, there is going to be funds raised for fixing up facilities in the park as well. $800,000. So I'm not sure how that would be allocated, but I think that yeah.
populated, you and I sit down with JCRA, talk through the plan on the park, but I agree with you.
Yeah, that's heavily used.
Where there's a lot of kids using it, what's more important?
Well, then, okay. Yes, I understand completely.
On Hoboken Avenue, coming up the hill, all right? How tall are those buildings supposed to be? The new construction that's going on.
Are you talking north of Volunteer Approach?
Yeah, the way you come up the hill.
Yes, so the range of buildings is 8 stories to buildings in the 20s.
What are we talking about?
You're talking about Jersey Avenue Park, redevelopment area.
View of the people up on the hill?
No, not entirely, no.
And then why are people complaining about it? I'll have to check.
My last question. Okay, my next question is that Councilman Ward E will wear that issue, but now my question is one that the affordable housing requirement. Do they have anything like that? So what are they?
Yes. Yes.
So I made a request prior to the meeting, the email. Matt, you want that? So, speaking to this one and then the following ordinance, if NW Financial can just provide a valuation again of the benefits, whether it's the, in this case, the affordable housing plus the monetary contribution to the Enos Jones Park, as well as for the amendments to the Morris Canal and the next one. I'd just like to see for both of those what those kind of numbers look like.
Is that Mark Henley?
Hanley, yeah, Mike Hanley, NW Financial.
Reach out, is it okay if I CC you on that? I'll hold more weight if I do that.
You have a phone call with them, don't you? I do. Yeah, we set that up for you for this coming week.
Okay.
So you can explain to them. Mike
What's the,
wasn't exactly sure. I called Mike, well, actually I spoke to Tim, and so there is already groundwork on this.
Oh, okay.
So you should
So
reach
I'm
out
gonna
so they know to
just-
give it to you.
Right.
And
Just
then in the
suggest that,
future, you can get it yourself directly to them, and they'll bill.
Yeah, so just for the record, I want to see what those numbers reveal, and so I'm going to save my comments for...
We have a version of those numbers working with the developer and planning, which we can send to Mike and he can take a quick look at them. Sure. So he might have a slight difference, but
That would be wonderful.
at least for Enos Jones, we have a version of that already. Yeah.
Can I, Council President?
Yes.
Can I add to that the affordable housing units? The affordable housing units, so 120% to AMI and 6 to 8% to AMI. Page 505. So now, they have a difference is that the apartment and the condo. City of Jersey have bad experience about that the affordable housing units for artists in Washington Street, because even though they have a condo for affordable housing unit, that most of the artists willing to get in, but maintenance cost is so high, so it's not affordable anymore. So when we put you like here, moderate income affordable units is 6 to 80% AMI, but if that's the units can be, if your units be a condo, so if the tenant have to pay high price of maintenance, then not many people able to afford their units. So name is called affordable, it can make a big difference. Even though they open to public, not many people able to take the site because of the maintenance cost. That's why it's a condo case. If it's affordable housing, rental units, it's a different story. So we gotta make sure that they're clear that if it's a condo, then certain rules and regulations we have to put it in. If a rental unit is a different, rental they include the maintenance, all those things already, so even though 60, 80%, they can adjust the rental fee. But if it's a condo, yes, they can give the prices of affordable price, but once they get in, the paid maintenance is so high, what happens, we know Washington Street, right? So we have to pay 5 units over like almost 10 years without putting anybody pay maintenance or tax in the city of Jersey City. So we gotta make sure that clear for that matter is in this page 505. Can't you do that?
Understood, I mean,
Understood, but you gotta find out some solution then.
yes, I mean,
So just they use the name of affordable, but actually people just get the benefit out of the affordable unit, yes or no? If it's condo, no. So make sure that how we gonna put on writing the word and statement of the change to get the benefit out of the people looking for, especially when you say especially 6 to 80% to AMI, yes, those kind of income level, 6 to 80%, if it's condo, maybe they can get it by affordable units price, but pay maintenance monthly payment, not cheap at all. So make sure that how we're gonna protect the people looking for affordable housing units, not get screwed.
okay.
Can't you do that so till Wednesday?
Wednesday I think will be difficult, but I'll have to look at, I mean, what I'll be, so what I'll,
use the word affordable, the units, but make sure that they really provide affordable unit people of Jersey City, okay?
so I'm not sure if this phase is condo or rental, or if that's even figured out yet. What I'll do though in the interim is look into how, and look at the controls that are outlined at the state level, and see how they define affordability in a condo ownership situation, and see if there's already legislation at the state level that controls this. And I'll circle back.
I just want to make sure protect the people of Jersey City. Okay. Not use just the word of affordable. Thank you.
All right. One more.
Which one?
An ordinance of the municipal council of the city of Jersey City adopting amendments to the Berry Lane Park zones of the Morris Canal redevelopment plan.
So this is another, we're going back to the Morris Canal redevelopment area, redevelopment plan. There's an area currently zoned in the plan called the Berry Lane Park Zone. It's not in the park, it's just adjacent to the park. It's a formerly industrial area that exists in the plan already, and they're just, the amendment here is to adjust some of the bulk and density and some of the community benefits that are outlaid in the plan. One of them being, this is at the end of Woodward and Van Horn, and it's all, they're very long dead-end streets. The plan called for a new connector street in between Woodward and Van Horn for several reasons: emergency egress, for just policing in general, as well as it would create more on-street parking and just improve circulation on these dead-end streets that are created because of the light rail spur. So this amendment has been presented to the community. I believe that the councilperson is aware of this amendment request as well. It was recommended by planning board to city council, and it includes obviously the creation of the street, build out of a small surface parking lot at the end of Woodward for visitors to the park, as well as 20% inclusionary housing in 21, I'm sorry, was that right? Yeah. One second, let me, I'm wrong this. 21. The infrastructure, you mean as far as the road? Yeah, so right, so there's currently, I believe it's believed to be broken, but a sewer line that goes underneath the property and connecting the streets, and that will all have to be relocated as well into the new road that's being built and connecting Woodward to Van Horn. But I don't know if I think an engineer would probably be better to speak to on that. maybe that's affiliated with the developer.
They could provide on-site contribution of $18,000 for units that off-sites that they don't build. I just want to know where we coming with $18,000. I'm just curious.
That's a joke. So I think
That's why I wanted to know.
10% on and 10% off for the 21%. So we're going to be half the units on, and they was going to contribute to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Because this was at the 18,000 per unit.
So that's why I'm just, where did we come with 18? Why can't we just go half? The only reason why, I'm just curious, where did 18 come from, really?
I don't have an answer for you.
Because normally it was 1,500, and I thought we could never get that passed.
150,000.
Now all of a sudden I see 18, so I'm just trying to say, how did we get there? Excuse me?
Something down 18,000.
Yeah, it's 18 now that they can contribute. But remember before it was only 1,500 that would contribute a unit. So
That's tied to abatements.
right. So where did they
We
come?
did this with another redevelopment plan, although it was 10,000 per unit. And I forget, that was the MGM plan, I think. I can't recall of other ones where we've done larger numbers, but within the redevelopment plan and within redevelopment agreements, we can increase the amount of required, or the amount of Affordable Housing Trust Fund contributions. We can, yeah. Yeah.
It's the same things like the other proposed ordinance. And page 2, item 5, inclusionary housing requirement, A, B, C, especially C, usually come up idea too, like the way I mentioned before. And also D, they have $18,000. You want me to tell the truth? Developer willing to pay $18,000 and they want to build it without affordable housing in their building. That's what it is today. So that pushes it there to certain income level.
Half.
Yeah.
Half and half.
18. So that is cause a problem now. So you got to come up with some idea, has a new progressive idea from you. You know, you're a very smart person. I think about time to adjust those things. If we see Bayfront project, is how much is it? $180,000? So $180,000, right? $180,000. So if we not build on site, you know, so because if they're not build affordable housing, they have to contribute $180,000 for the Affordable Trust Fund. But if not, $18,000 to give them off the hook to put in the affordable housing units in the building. Every developer want to do that. So some New York City, some project, the $150,000. We gotta have to be changed. This one, the every redevelopment plan now. I think it's the time to protect people of Jersey City and to make our community more healthier with a different income level, to live together, keep the harmony and peace. That kind of job your department have to provide by planning about time to change.
Evaluation.
Okay.
Figuring out the economics of it.
So please, come up, number 5, time to adjust. So still you got 2 weeks time, the months till, all right?
I appreciate the challenge, thank you very much.
No, you can.
Well, Jen, do you want, I'm sorry, we have an attorney here for the applicant to apply for these amendments? The attorney, Jen.
As well as the planning board. And the community came out to speak. The planning board, of course, voted unanimous. Most of the neighbors really was in favor because of the street access, and they have a plumbing issue at the end of that street where it always floods. So most of the neighbors was really, excited that this was coming.
Okay.
Matt, before you go,
No, do you need to?
do you have,
You want to address that, sure?
Matt, before you go,
Man, you can stay seated. Just stay here, man.
Breaking news this morning about St. Lucy's Church on 18th Street.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Do you know anything about this St. Lucy's church being sold and the mayor's office getting involved in it?
I do know. I have been in meetings with the prospective buyer.
All right, well, the church is historic. I know that our historic commission has let 2 buildings be destroyed in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Let's finish this.
Let me just, wait, Rich, you can talk.
I'd be happy to talk with you, Councilperson.
All right.
No, he's gonna stay and
Are you
finish.
staying, Matt?
Finish with
Okay.
him.
Yeah,
Go
all right.
ahead.
I just wanted to respond, or at least try to maybe explain the inclusionary housing. Yes, Jennifer Mazaway, Mazawey, with Genova Burns. We're the attorney for the developer who is seeking the redevelopment plan amendments. Just with regard to the inclusionary housing, and I just wanted to be clear, we're providing half of the 21% inclusionary component on site. So there will be units on site. It's not, there's no allowance for a 100% buyout of that requirement. So there will be 18 units if the developer builds to the capacity of the density allowed. There would be 18 units of inclusionary housing on site. And then there would be the contribution of $18,000 for an additional 18 units that would go into the city's Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Okay, so that is, we understand now. Then 18,000 go based on 15,000, 1,500 for each unit. That's what you mean. Okay, now let me ask you this one: is a condo or a rental?
This will be a fully rental building.
Rental place.
Yes, correct.
Are you guys anticipating applying for
Well, we have not yet been designated as the redeveloper, but I suspect we would eventually request a tax
So when you build the 18 units, do they get to provide the city of Jersey the project income statement for that?
So
at least the city council knows that if you provide 21%, which is 18 units for affordable housing units, we like to know the unit real affordable housing units. So can't you provide the project income statement of how much you guys are going to charge for affordable housing units for 18 units?
Sure. Yes.
So we know that.
Yes, but we're premature at that point. We don't know that information yet. But
Yes, we know at least we can get some idea. So what that means affordable housing units, the price will be in your units. Fair enough?
Understood, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Matt, you said you're involved with the St. Lucy's deal?
I've been in meetings with prospective buyer. Yes.
All right, because there's an article on New Jersey News this morning about it, and I think it's a little insulting, that article, all right? And I think the Archdiocese had better smarten up. That's number one. And then secondly, Center Street. Center Street, the eminent domain is illegal according to the law. They know what they're talking about. So please have that meeting postponed next week. It's supposed to be on again, I believe, next week before the planning board. Yeah, it's got to be postponed.
Are you nodding in affirmation?
Yes.
Then you're nodding, you're going to postpone? That's just want to be clear.
Yes, I mean, I think that's probably...
Nodding, you understand, and you've heard him. Is that? I just want to be clear so we're not miscommunicating to each other.
Council President, he's not asking, he's ordering.
Yes, he's
It's
ordering.
got to be postponed, and, you know, there's a lot of controversy. When you start messing around with people that have lived someplace for 46 years, older people, this is a disgrace and what the city was trying to do. I understand the developer may be backing out, and if he's wise, he should, because there's going to be a lot of controversy over this. Thank you, Matt. Matt, it has nothing to do with you.
Matt, before you leave, actually, just on the 2 redevelopment plans, 3J, 3K, is there language in here about requiring the RDA?
RDAs are required for the 2 big projects, Enos Jones and for the Berry Lane Park zone, RDAs are required, and they're written into the zoning. Yep.
Okay. So we're going to take on Steve and Pat, and then we'll finish up with everything.
I'll give you the better chair.
So you want to start with your resolutions or the one ordinance?
We can do the one ordinance.
Let's do the one ordinance first.
So the one ordinance they have before you is 3B.
All right, let me get there. 3B is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 319, towers and towing, Section 319-1, 319-12, and 319-18 of the Municipal Code, authorizing public bidding for a contract for providing impound services to the City of Jersey City and requiring that all vehicles impounded by the city and unclaimed for the requisite statutory period be sold at public auction.
Okay.
Yeah, this was here once before, you remember, we had to pull it because there's more changes, that the state statute was changed a little bit. So the law department has revised it. Once this gets approved on second reading, we can then go out to bid with the RFP. So it's back. Mostly it's language changes and definitions. You'll see the underlined part.
Is this the same towing one that we passed?
Yes. Yes, we just modified some, we added some more items to it, made some changes. And at this point, if this gets passed, then we're going to go ahead with the RFP, and that'll be issued in reference to the car pound.
This doesn't affect the last one that we had that kept the existing situation in effect.
Just added to it.
Until the RFP is done.
So we amended that.
Yes, that was done.
Correct.
This is the
It's not
prior one
reflected
that we
here.
had that we pulled off.
The amendment that we made, the last amendment we made to this towing ordinance changed the term that, by which it would take effect. And that section here says, the ordinance shall take effect subject to the terms of this ordinance at the time and the manner as provided by law, which is the standard language. But we had amended it to say something else, I thought, didn't we?
Well, what we did was actually just repeal that previous ordinance.
Right.
Well, we did.
In entirety.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, until such time as we're gonna come back, which is now. So is that
We
problem?
killed the whole thing. No, that's fine.
So if this
However
goes,
we're gonna handle it, we're gonna handle it.
if this goes into effect, these are the new rules that are gonna go into effect. Unless
Yeah,
you
but
want
then are you
that.
ready to go out? Are you, again, when this takes effect, it's 20 days.
Correct.
So then, will you have a bid, a contract, and a new operator within 20 days?
No. That's when we go out to bid.
The rule will
We'll
go
go
into effect.
out,
You're gonna
right.
have towing operators and the same issue.
Right, that's all still in effect until the RFP is done and we get vendors to bid and we go from there. That's right.
If you want, if you don't want this to take effect for another 60 days or 90 days, we have to put that in the ordinance.
Oh, no, this can take effect. This has nothing to do with the previous one that left the existing situation in effect until a vendor is selected from the RFP. This just allows us to go ahead with the RFP. That's what was needed, was the change in the language for the code.
Now, if this goes into effect,
Right.
these will be the new rules, period.
This is
So
your
if you
towing
don't- if you
rules
wanna
that go
delay
into
this-
effect immediately, which is fine. And then we have the RFP.
Why don't you guys talk it over?
No,
Well, you know what, we're going to review this again.
So you need the extension to go, the current extension to stay and not this to take effect in 20 days. Okay, so as long as this is approved on second reading, we have to be able to go out to bid. Right now, we can't.
I understand. I'm just saying your effective dates. Councilman Young?
Right. So if you see that the ordinance, page 3, code number 31911A, that 1C, every class 1, class 2, a vehicle is 150 inclusive of $40 administrative fee, but except the class 3, doesn't it mention about the administrative fee? Why? Let me repeat one more, the page 3.
Yeah, that hasn't changed.
Page 3.
That's page 3. And it has, right under a part of, was it 319-?
319-11.
Schedule of maximum prices disclosure.
Yes, A, C, class 1, class 2, talk about that the $40 administrative fee, so on, so, but except the class 3. There any reason, any they're
The
missing?
difference in
or-
price is a larger vehicle. It's a different size vehicle, different weight structure.
I think the concern,
Oh, it's been,
But also it's a fee, is have to be, doesn't matter the size, and the desk guy who working is the same.
Right.
So there's a missing, so you're gonna put in that the
we have
same.
to change that.
Exclusive of $40 administrative fee?
That should be in there.
Okay?
Yeah.
Corporation council? Yeah, okay.
Have you talked to those operators again since?
We're waiting for the RFP, which we will have time to basically address them. From our last meeting, no, we have not had any conversations. We made the necessary changes accordingly, with their input that they had put in at the meeting, as far as the RFP was concerned.
So my suggestion is address this idea of the timing of the effective date. I'll leave you in the law department to figure that.
We're going to have that
And in
conversation.
the interim, between first and second reading, reach out to those same folks. Let them know that that this is being introduced and get their feedback. You got a month between first and second reading to kind of iron it out and make sure, because I can assure you that if you don't tell them, they'll either find out or we'll tell them. I'll likely tell them. And so they're going to come to the council meeting one way or the other, trying to figure out what's going on, and you might as well be proactive about it and
Yeah, the existing
talk to them.
situation has to be in effect until the RFP is concluded and we actually get bidders to award a contract to, which could be several more months.
I know, but before you go out to bid,
Right, we gotta correct this.
you talk to the folks who are actually doing this
Right.
work, because they seem to have some input, thoughts about how this stuff can, how the laws should operate effectively and so forth around this, so. Yeah.
We talk about the towing company and impound operator, but if the towing company do the illegal activity, so in other words, they don't, by legally, well, they illegally they pound the car, put in the car. What kind of punishment or penalty we going to place for the towing company and the impound operator? Impound is something about towing company. Because in New York City, as I understand, if it's a towing company do illegal activity, they're supposedly not towing the car, but they did, you know what I'm saying, because not many people go fighting in the court. That's the case. I think that they lose the license like a 60 months or 1 year, and they give just some very stiff fine. But when I read that, maybe I missed some part of it, it doesn't have that to towing company. Can we have put it in?
That would be part of the RFP, because you're going to have to bring it to the city designated compound facility. So what would happen in that case if it was illegal? I mean, it's not going to go through. How are you going to come in with the car? If it was a legal car that was pulled?
Illegal activity by the towing company. What kind of penalty, what kind of punishment are we going to put in that ordinance so that we limited those kind of activity?
So there is a statute, it's called Predatory Towing Act, that deals with those kinds of things. And so if there's a violation of law, the city doesn't prosecute, because we don't do that. We don't do prosecutions like that. That would get, we would have to either bring a suit or refer that to, it depends on what, if it's, is it fraud, then it's criminal, then we refer to the prosecutor's office. Is it a civil offense, then we might have to bring a lawsuit. It depends on what the illegal activity is going to be. So we can't talk about it in an abstract. It depends on what happens. But the city doesn't enforce that statute. It has to be either through a lawsuit, and the courts will have to adjudicate that, or it has to be, if it's a criminal matter, then we refer it to the prosecutor's office.
If as a vendor for the city, if in the course of doing their business, someone conducts illegal activities as part of their
They should
their
be,
work,
they should be employing, but they did. So those kind of company, we should be somewhere punished that, you know what I'm saying?
what is the recourse for the city?
I think there would be, like, as Bob said, there would be, if we suspect there's criminal activity, we can refer to the prosecutor's office. There's state agencies, I mentioned Consumer Affairs, which it would possibly handle this.
Yeah, but
What about the cities,
city side we talk about.
Can we cancel the contract?
Yes, of course.
Yes, yeah.
Any
Exactly.
illegal activity is a reason for us to to cancel the contract, to seek damages, all the contractual remedies apply.
See, regular people of Jersey City, they're not going to, first thing is going to be file a suit against the towing company. They're very difficult to do that. So somewhere we got to create with some kind of a system to protect general public without going through the legal processing for, something we should be do that. If like the city of Jersey get consumer complaint that certain towing company more than 5, then city should be step up to investigating that instead of.
We do have that.
Okay, good. Can I see?
Yeah, it's letter H.
What page?
Page 5.
Page 5. H, right?
Yes. So that's the statute we're citing there.
The predatory towing.
Yeah.
Okay, where would have to file the complaint? So business administrator? Or their business are going to find, to create with certain department?
Yes, the VA has to establish a process that's required under the statute to receive complaints, to process them.
There already is a... There already is. Commerce licenses all the towers. So you can't be a tower and respond to any towing situation at all in the city of Jersey City without having a license from the Division of Commerce. The Commerce does investigations of complaints all the time. Taxi drivers,
So any complaint, they have to follow the Commerce, right?
all I have to do is call him.
Okay.
Maynard
We just
will
wanna make
jump
sure,
on it.
okay?
He's a very competent guy, the head of Commerce.
As long as we...
And then what is the penalty? They take the license.
Yeah.
Or they suspend them from the police list.
As long as we have a system in the place to protect the people of Jersey, I'm fine, okay? So H, Commerce, all right, good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Great, okay. Next item.
Resolution.
You better buy something today.
Yeah, right.
Z13.
Okay, we have Z13, Clean Communities Recycling Grant, the established Clean Communities Program from which a grant is awarded to municipalities in order to encourage litter pickup and removal. It is the intent and the spirit of the Clean Communities and Recycling Grant Act to use the Clean Communities grants to promote and encourage a clean and a safe environment. The New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection has promulgated Clean Communities regulations to implement the Clean Communities and Recycling Grant Act. The City of Jersey City desires to accept grant funds for the purposes of litter cleanup and removal, educational programs to promote clean communities, enforcement of local anti-littering laws, and other programs. The City of Jersey City hereby accepts the grant funds of $371,385 from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for the calendar year of 2018 Clean Communities Grant. And this is a resolution to accept those funds.
So, Council President?
Yes.
Okay, 375,000 grant, what portions go to the mural program, what portion go to the actual street cleaning? The last year, I think we give to $100,000 for mural program, and the 270,000 go to the actual hiring people to clean the streets. So what is it this year? So what kind of sharing with...
How are you spending your money?
Yeah.
I can give you a definite breakdown on that. I did not bring that breakdown with me.
Mostly litter patrol.
I'm sorry?
It's mostly litter patrol.
Mostly it's litter patrol, recycling, things of that nature. But let me give you an actual breakdown.
You get a breakdown.
We'll forward that over to you. Let me have your pen. You got a
Last year,
pen?
we spent like €100,000 from this grant. Just wondering.
Well, this all goes into the city funds. Let me get you the information. Breakdown, all right. What do you mean? It does.
It goes, it has to
Yeah.
go to some funds.
All right, the second one is a resolution.
To be spent.
It's 18 dash...
It's a restricted grant.
Correct.
You can't just throw it as a general fund and then spend, you gotta identify its use.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is listed here.
That's right.
We can't just use it for, ball fields or something like that.
Read the left-hand side designation, that helps us better, Patty. 10Z, whatever, or...
10Z-14. Sorry.
That's accepting grant funds from the New Jersey Department of Transportation.
I'll let you do the reading.
For youth and training opportunities.
Correct. This is for our gateways. We were lucky to get this grant. It's a $32,000 grant, and basically allow us to put some of our youth to work in our gateway areas, cleaning up and dressing them up coming into the city.
So this is entrance of the Jersey. I think we come up specific plan for beautification plan for this area, you know what I'm saying? Just
This
not
is
only,
whatever DOT, this is whatever DOT is allowing us to do on this grant, that's what we'll be doing. I wish I could add to it. Maybe next year they'll grant us more money where we can do more gateways for the community, for the city.
Clean that whole strip up
But kids
from
can't
Union
be-
City down.
I can't argue against that. I agree with you. But this is the start.
This is summer kids.
Summer kids, this is summer kids. It's a short grant.
Yes.
At least we'll dress that up. Yeah, well, no, of
just
course.
Yeah, the entrance is basically cleaning up the lawn and grass.
Yeah, we're not going to just give them
With the signage.
lawn mowers or white weed whackers. We're going to have equipment, and they'll be managed, the traffic. That's correct.
It's dangerous. Some of these areas with the traffic, so you gonna put kids there?
Off hours of that traffic condition, not during the heavy traffic condition.
Director Ken?
Yes, sir.
$32,000 for landscaping for entrance of those the entrance for the 440 and the 1 and 9 Tunnel Avenue so on so. So just to make sure that instead of putting it the way Caucus Council is concerned is that not that much money, but putting like a teenager in those corners, some have risks of, we can have face. So put more adult,
More adults there because of the traffic. That's what we're concerned about.
Yes,
That's
these are older kids, these aren't younger kids, these are older kids, number
Yeah.
one. And there's a certain amount of adults that will be there. It's not I don't want you thinking that we're going to give these kids the equipment to drive out and then go ahead and do it. They're under supervision. The whole idea of this grant is to educate and have them trained for things like this in the future. This is just a start for this grant. So there'll be a chance for us to expand upon it next year if we're successful with it this year.
I guess I would just.
sorry.
Councilman? When would the program start? It's on 440?
The next couple of weeks.
I would just emphasize to be strong supervision. Like,
That's all right.
this is, I kid you not, if there's a tragedy there with a child or a young person, 18 or 19, it doesn't matter to me, like,
We're going to take all the
that area
necessary
is,
safety precautions, trust me
yeah.
on that. I mean, there was a whole criteria that we had to follow and submit to the New Jersey Department of Transportation. I mean, it was a little more involved than what we're explaining here.
okay. Councilman?
Out of this resolution, we have in DPW, do you guys have like big vacuums to pick up like litter, for example? The reason why I ask is this: I was at Gateway Park this weekend, and within the inside the Gateway field, there was lots of needles, probably over 30.
Needles?
Yeah, needles. So is there, instead of having the workers, be put at risk for that, maybe if they can have a vacuum, pick it up. I don't know if you guys have it. If you don't, we should think of purchasing one. And then just have that bag thrown away, not even, dig in there, just have that, something that we should consider. Because we really don't want to, A, have you guys at risk, B, more importantly, have kids in there playing around. I think we should consider, buying that type of machinery.
Yes, we have. Have we looked at it? Yes. We're waiting to get everything squared away with our capital budget to move forward on some of those items.
Some of these people abusing drugs in the park. That's the answer.
You're right. I mean, that is a problem. I mean, it's a problem throughout the city. We'll work on it. I agree. I've been in that situation, picking them up. I understand. All right, the next item is 10Z25, and what we're...
It's a resolution authorizing the extension of contract with Atlantic Coast Fibers for the disposition of mixed paper and commingled recycling items on a month-to-month basis, not to exceed 3 months.
Correct. We're closing out, we've closed out our contract. We're in the process, which in another few days, we'll be going out to issuing our RFP for a new recycling contract. And that'll be on a 6-month term due to the current market conditions. And it'll be every 6 months we'll be going out. Next item on the agenda is 10Z26. This here is a resolution authorizing the renewal of an open-end contract with Cintas Corporation for the rental of uniforms for the Department of Public Works.
Any questions on this? Hearing none?
97, authorizing the renewal of a contract with Starlight Electric for sports lighting and scoreboard maintenance at all the various ball fields.
Correct. Any questions? Councilman, I'm sorry.
No, when I worked at Cable Point, the lights were on at the baseball field in the daylight all the time. They should start shutting lights.
We're running into a lot of problems with those, sensors that shut them off. So we're going around now, and we're doing it manually until we can replace them.
Then why do we pay for $161,000?
We ran out of money. Now we're issuing a new resolution to go forward.
That's part of the job, the maintenance, and to make sure turn on the right time, turn off the right.
We are doing that.
I mean, if we do that, our manpower, our city employee, then what is the sense to pay $161,000? Right?
Well, this covers everything. I mean, besides the lights, I mean, we're talking scoreboards.
That's what I'm
There's a
saying.
whole bunch of stuff that we're doing.
But the last year, we pay $158,000. They provide services, some maintenance as an issue, but we increase $161,000.
I mean, a big increase was... Well,
yes, we know that, years.
We got to realize, too, we just kicked in Berry Lane, too. So now that's starting, and that's a bulk of it, too.
Yeah, the last year, last year, so we understand that. My say is that Berry Lane Park opened last year, so they, on the contract, we include that service for Berry Lane Park. But now, the way Councilman Richie Bojan mentioned to that field light, in the nighttime, like a daylight, no game at all. So we pay $161,000. We pay like around $20,000 more than last year because of the increase of the consumers also. But service-wise, they're not providing what we're looking for. And our men, the city employee go there manually turn off. Then what do we sense to, we give to increase their fee, but I mean service-wise, we're missing something. So please do me a favor, instead to use that the city resource to shut off and to do that, if they not provide a service for worth of $161,000, then we should pay $161,000.
A number of items, and I'm going to give you a breakdown so the council will be able to look at it.
They set up a time set up to make sure when the game is on, if his game was to turn off the light, but unfortunately their service is not provided well. The way council, I mean the Director Penn mentioned they have a problem. Then if the problem with the time clock, at the time clock, whatever they call it.
There's no game, the lights go on, and then you have to go and manually shut them off and then reprogram them. I mean, we'll set something up.
Yeah, that's a part of the service, maintenance service. Then they provide the maintenance service.
Well, they're part of the service. It's not to basically turn them on or shut them down. It's for the maintenance of the equipment, the scoreboards, the lighting themselves, the bulbs. You know, we're changing some going over from regular lighting over to LED lighting. So it's a little more involved. But let me give you an exact breakdown so you have that.
And the last time, actually, last when we talk of this one, they tried to plan to change to LiPo to LED LiPo, more energy efficient. Do they did?
In some areas, we have switched over. I mean, it's a gradual, because like I said back when, is that once you do this, they are more money initially, but over the course, more than pay for themselves fourfold.
We just
And
want
I want to give you a breakdown. So in my opinion, it's not just timers on this. I feel it's LEDs, but let me give you a breakdown on all the ball fields so you have a better idea.
All right.
We'll have that over to you either today or tomorrow, the morning at the latest.
You're always responsible. Appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome, Councilman. Agenda 10Z28. It's a resolution authorizing the renewal of a contract with MJ Hogue Contracting for providing tree planting services citywide for the Department of Public Works and the Division of Park Maintenance. Yes, ma'am.
Last year, at least with the home tree planting program, we're getting some feedback that the trees went in late. They went in January and February, and we don't know the exact number, but a number of the trees have not survived, including the one in front of my house.
Correct.
So my question is, what are they responsible for? Why are the trees going in late? I understand they're going in late again now in June and July when it's really hot, and these trees don't have as good a long time to survive. So,
Okay.
Two things.
Previous conversation, number one will be the responsibility of, for example, this group that are planting the trees. The trees are under warranty. So the trees that have died are going to be replaced. The previous sets of trees, like the one in front of your house. So that's already in the works, and they'll start doing that. These trees that are also coming in are under warranty also, so that if they do die or what have you, they will be replaced.
Well, I understand that, but part of this, and the reason why the trees aren't surviving is the timing of them going into the ground. So how can we remedy that going forward?
I mean, I can check, let me check into it.
Dead trees.
Let me check into it. If there was a problem with the trees going in now, then the arborist or the tree company wouldn't be putting in trees that they're going to end up having to replace. So let me check into it, and we'll have that too.
Part of the problem was the delay in the bid for the trees. If you remember, we had to reject the bids because they were over the amount of money we had and rebid it, so that delayed client buying.
But that was a CSIP grant, that was a different program.
Right.
So is this part of the CSIP grant?
I don't think so. No, it's not.
Okay.
I think I recall asking if we could have a proposal on the cost of eliminating the $200 fee for street trees. And I know this is a little bit different, but I think we talked about the budget hearing. So
yes,
if that's something we can move towards, is that something you guys are working on?
We thought the cost was more than reasonable for what it costs between the tree and the actual installation. I think eventually we might be able to do something, but right now, here again, let me see what I can do.
Sure, and I think it'd be, a number of different street tree pieces, but I think they're, a piece of infrastructure, so we should think about providing them at no cost to the average citizen. Just like we don't charge them for,
I agree.
electricity.
So, Pat, Council President?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Pat, we just make it clear, this company service for planting tree.
That's this particular.
Yes, and the purchase of tree is different, right? So, if we planted, the price is $100-some thousand. What is 100,000? I guess, yeah, $100,000. The planting tree based on 360 trees, right? How many trees is it? So when I see that things, when they talk about the price based on 300 tree, I think. Yeah, that $100,000 based on if they plant a tree, 300 trees. So each tree planting costs for taxpayer $360. They come up, they get up the hole, plant a tree, cost of $360 per. So last year, DPW spent $70,000 to plant a tree, which means last year city only planted 200 trees. We're supposed to plant a tree, more trees plant, right?
Well, there was the City of Trees project, but that's citywide, not just home trees. So
This particular case is just for this section.
Right.
I mean, there's more to this than what we're presenting in front of you today.
I think, Pat, one of the other concerns I know that the Parks Coalition has shared is with these tree planting services, things like removing the metal frame around the trees as they go in. That happened to a number of trees that went in this last winter. And one of the excuses they gave was because they were frozen. And so that just goes back to the fact that they're just not timing this right. So if we can make sure that the trees are going in November and like October, November, and May, June, like that's really the optimal time so they can survive. And like I said before, it's great that they're under warranty, but they're just duplicating services if they're not doing it right the first time. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah. So even though they provide 2 years guarantee for the tree, but still, the way she say, the Councilwoman Mira say that instead of the 2 years warranty, we ask the 1 year's warranty, lower the price, but plant the tree right time is more important, 2 years warranty. All right? So maybe we plan all year to plot the bid for the company and the tree purchase, okay? All right?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Pat, before you go, you finished, Pat? Are you finished? All right, before you go, Artie Williams brought you up this morning. We're talking about the tennis courts at Pershing Field. Please, people are complaining. He said that DPW is responsible for the tennis courts. That's right. Can something be done to fix them up, Pat, please?
Are you promising to us?
I also made promises.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you, Pat.
So we actually...
Number of promises. But sorry, I did that. We'll take care of it.
Pat?
All right, Pat, you can.
Sink Navy.
Thank you, Council.
Which
Now what? What's next?
I think we sent it to you.
Okay. Councilor, you recall, Margaret sent a
Rolando, what is this here for?
presentation.
No,
Vision Zero.
Listen,
Vision Zero.
Vision Zero.
So I asked traffic engineering to come in. Council members had questions about various things, from Route 140 to Vision Zero to Grand Street redesign. So they're going to cover all of that, plus the Pulaski Skyway. And asking them to do brief presentations on each item and allow 5 minutes of questions from the council per item. So, are your colleagues joining you, Andrew?
They are, yeah, we're trying to grab.
Yeah.
Can I make a motion? We here 3.5 hours already. Can we have a 10 minutes break altogether? Before we...
If council members are amenable to that, that's fine with me.
Okay, before we do that, at least a 10 minutes break altogether, right? Right? Good?
People okay with that?
Yeah. Yep. 10 minutes break.
Now we're going to take a 10-minute break.
I want to go.
We'll rejuvenate, refresh themselves. Sorry, Andrew.
That's okay.
There's 10 more minutes.
Actually kind of helped.